All right, there we go. Hi, guys. I see you coming in left and right. Good to see you this morning. Glad you guys are here. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Let's get this chat working. Let's see who is here. If you guys can see the chat, you should be able to answer my little question. Tell us about your business. Tell us where you're from. We can't wait to meet you. And then we're going to kick this thing off with some polls in just a minute. So introduce yourself in the chat. And then Beth, let's start the business duration poll. How long have you been in business? We'll start with that poll first, and then we'll have a couple more as we just wait for everyone to get on and get joined this morning.
Oh, this is fun.
This is working so good. Look at how fast. Can everyone see the poll? Can you see how fast those numbers are changing?
Uh-huh.
Look at the number of 5 to 10 years. We've got some vets here. I love it. We've got some newbies that haven't opened yet. Welcome. Hello.
I think they don't see the results in that until I click end poll.
Oh, okay. Okay. Only we can see it. Okay. Well, we can.
Mary Hill is here. Good morning, Mary Hill. I see you in the chat. Kylene, nice.
Avenue J, hello. Hello from Maryland, Texas. Wapaton, North Dakota. Hello. Oh my gosh. Opposite corner of Bowman, North Dakota, just so everybody knows where my hometown is. I live in Wisconsin now. Love seeing my North Dakota friends. All right. California, Colorado, Illinois. We got to do a poll next of where everyone's from, Beth. All right, everyone, it looks like the first poll answered. Business duration. Ready? All right, let's share the results of what we've got so far. Bismarck, North Dakota. Hello. All right, are you sharing it? Can everyone see the results of business duration? Are we there?
Yes, they should be able to.
Okay, sweet. So where did we end up here? 23%, the majority of you are 5 to 10 years in business. We should have had like a 10 plus year option.
We did. Yep. We 15%, 10 plus years, 15%. Yeah.
My bad. All right, sweet. 5 to 10 years is the most. Second most, 1 to 3 years. Third is 3 to 5 years. Beth, let's start the next poll. Is it business location? Is that the next one? Let's see how many states we get. I feel like that should be, oh, we don't have it by state. We have it by region. Okay.
Yep.
Guys ready? Let's see. No pressure, but you know, Sarah and I have a tagline, Midwest is the best. No offense, Texas. No offense. We should have had Texas as its own option on here. Outside of the USA, look at you. I see 16 of you already outside of the United States. That's amazing. Welcome, you guys. All right. Where are we from? Yes, Texas. I see you. All right. You can drop it in the chat too. If you've already answered the poll, we would love to see what states you're from. Also, our friends who are outside of the United States, can you drop where you're from? What country are you from? I think that'd be really fun to see.
Hi, Val. I see you. Awesome. Canada.
I see the UK, Denmark, Bermuda, Puerto Rico. Oh, St. Lucia, can we just come visit you? It is 5 degrees in Wisconsin today. Chile. Oh my goodness, this is so great. California is outside of the USA. That's my favorite answer yet. Brenda, I see you. Oh my goodness. Welcome, you guys. Lots of Canadians. This is so great. All right. Yes, your mics are turned off, Taylor. We see you. All right, Beth, let's do the third poll. Where are we at with our third poll? We'll share the results with you guys. Who's our winner here? Midwest. All right. Second is Southeast. All right. And then we're close between the Northeast and the Southwest. All right. But 21 of you from outside the USA. That's amazing. Virgin Islands. We're at in the Virgin Islands. I would love to know. That's amazing, Cece. Welcome.
All right. Next poll. What type of business are you? These are so fun. I love getting to know more about who our audience is.
So good. So many familiar faces here, you guys. I love it. So while we're waiting for you to answer this poll, tell me in the chat. So I see some very familiar faces who have been through retail boot camp. I see some Boutique Hub Black members here today. I see, hi Val, I see you. I see some members of the Boutique Hub here today. Yes, Jeannie, your mics are off. Yep. Mics are off for all of you, so you don't have to worry about it. If you go to the bathroom, I mean, go in peace, right? But let's hear, who here's a member of the Boutique Hub, or if this is your first time joining us for any kind of training at the Boutique Hub, I would really love to know.
first timers put first time. Yes. Let's see.
So good.
Club member.
Connie, I see you, a hometown gal right there, Urban Boutique. I'm so glad that you're here to join us. All right, first timers. We should add a poll on first timers. We'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do a poll on all those things. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. This is so good. This is the first time we've done polls like this, Sarah. I'm loving it.
Good, good. I'm glad.
First time, listen to the podcast. OG Wendy Night.
See Wendy. Yes. Boot
Gosh.
camper. I love it. Boot camp, boot camp.
Oh, this is so great. Where is the podcast? It's called Boutique Chat. It's anywhere you can get podcasts. So Spotify, iTunes, all the places. So good.
Amy Sharp. Hey girl, I see you. Nice to see you back.
All right,
Hey,
Ginny.
boot camp. Yep. Jenny, we're gonna get to that here in a little bit.
So good. Okay, well, let's share the result of what type of business this is. And as you guys are jumping in, tomorrow we'll do the poll of boot camp, Boutique of Black members, non-members, first timers, welcome. We're going to get to know you today. Hopefully get to know each other today. We'll tell you a little bit about what we do here at the Boutique Hub in just a minute. All right, type of business. Online plus brick and mortar, a whopping 59%. Are you surprised at that? I'm not surprised at that.
Nope. That's pretty, I felt like that would be right on track. Yep. I am a little surprised the amount of pop-ups. I'm loving that. 20% pop-ups. That's very cool.
Very good. Online only, 26%. Brick and mortar, live sellers. Typically, if you're a live seller, you do got live seller and online only. Very good. Tomorrow, we should also do a poll, Beth and Sarah, on what you sell. That'll be our tomorrow poll, because I know we've got shoes, we've got home and gift, we've got children's, we've got scrubs, we've got quilt stores, we've got a little bit of everything. We talk about apparel a lot, you guys, but we literally will talk about retail for anyone and everyone. So hopefully everyone feels welcome and seen today. We're so excited to dig into your business. Quick reminder as we get started, hopefully you all have notebooks today so you can take some notes. I promise we're going to give you a lot of notes. You all should have this workbook that came in your email. So if you have not printed out this little workbook yet, I think it's like 17 pages. This is going to be handy to take notes while we're here. And then we've got some goodies and some surprises for you today too.
Awesome. And I see the girls dropped the workbook link right there in the chat for you guys if you need it. Thanks, Beth and Megan.
All right, let's get started. So hopefully everyone's found the chat by now. Let me scroll down to the bottom so I can keep up with you. Let me know if you can see my screen. Give me a big thumbs up. And then I'm going to open the Q&A box. You guys are welcome to use the Q&A box as we go today, but we are going to specifically start with Q&A at the end of our session today. We'll be going for at least an hour, probably more like 90 minutes. I hope you can join us the entire time. We'll be live today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, 10 a.m. Central Time each day. We'll record it, but I guarantee you're going to want to be here in person. We're going to be doing some bonuses, some giveaways, some things that are going to be only available to those of you who are here in the next 3 days. So please do your best to join us. We hope to give you some really great nuggets. We're a fluff-free zone. We don't like business fluff. We love hard-hitting nuggets. So we're going to get into that each and every day today, or this week, this week. All right, let's get started. Let's talk about Best Year Yet. So if this is your first time here, which there's lots of you who are, the Best Year Yet Challenge, Sarah, how many years have we done this? Is this like 7?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, it's been a while. So this, every year, I'm sure you hear this, Sarah, I hear this all the time, but our community, this is always their favorite event of the year. It's always how we kick off the new year. It's planning out your business and who you want to be as a leader of your business for the next year. We deep dive into things. So each day is a bit of a different topic. And today we're digging into the ultimate retail business plan for 2025. We're going to talk about really you as a business owner, you as a leader, you as a CEO. We know you're managing 10,000 different things all at once at any given moment. And we want to make sure we can help you do that even more effectively today. And something I'm really excited, and Sarah, I know you're most excited about this because you've set this up. We've never done this before at Best Year Yet, but today we have 4 amazing guests joining us. So, I mean, we did the technology walkthrough. Let's hope it all works. But these 4 retailers who are joining us today are going to add so much value to what we're going to talk about because they have walked the walk in the last year. This was a tough year in business for a lot of people, and these 4 retailers overcame in some major ways. And we're really excited for you guys to hear from them directly. So that's going to be new today during the Best Year Yet Challenge. All right, a little bit about us. Hello, my name is Ashley Alderson. I'm the founder and CEO here at the Boutique Hub, also of our wholesale platform, hubventory.com, which is where we have about 1,000 vetted brands from here at the Boutique Hub you can shop wholesale with at any given moment with member discounts. And what we do here at the Boutique Hub, and what I do at the Boutique Hub, gosh, what has it been? 11 years? This will be our 12th year in business. Is that right? Goodness. Sarah was one of the very first people I told about this wild idea to build the Boutique Hub so long ago. She's from the same hometown my husband is from. So I've shopped at her boutique when she was a boutique owner. And when I told her, hey, I have this idea of bringing all these retailers together in one place and every resource that a retailer could need in one place, she was like, awesome, do it. I would use it. I know other people would use it. And so today, the Boutique Hub, that's what we do. We really focus on 3 things. We focus on education, right? Which is why we're here. We want to help you build a stronger business from the inside out. We focus on community. So we have been about community over competition for 12 years. A rising tide always lifts all ships. So we're for people who want to see the industry be successful, not just themselves. And when we look at it as a whole and how do we make this industry successful, it provides more opportunity for each and every one of us. So we'll talk more about that. And then the third big thing that we do again is wholesale, which is where Hubventory comes in. We also want to support those who are wholesale brands because we know it's a partnership. So when wholesale brands are successful and retailers are successful and they work well together, it's better for everybody. So that's really the foundation of everything we do here at the Boutique Hub. All right, Sarah Burks.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah Burks. I'm the Director of Partnerships Education here at the Hub. And I agree with Ashley. This is a really fun time for me. It felt weird starting the new year last week in the middle of the week, but us not doing this until today. So as far as I'm concerned, the new year starts today. This is a super awesome time to rally together, get in this Zoom room with everybody that is going through the same things as you are, right? And collaborate and network and share ideas and hear from industry thought leaders and business owners that can really take your business to the next level, whatever success means to you. So that's my daily mission. We always say here at the Boutique Hub that we change people's lives. And that is what I get out of bed for every single day. So seeing you guys jump in here today warms my heart. I have goosebumps, seeing the returners, seeing the OGs, seeing how many new people we have here today, that this is our first opportunity to meet with you and help you, achieve your goals. This is what I'm all about. I'm here for it. So I started in retail back in 1992, just a few years ago. I have a few years of experience under my belt and ran a store for many years. Like Ashley said, she shopped there. And I've walked in your shoes and I've done the whole take the store online, expand to multiple locations. I've taught entrepreneurship at the university here locally. I've coached at a collegiate level. All of these things. You guys, I rented cars for Enterprise rental car, right? Anybody with me? Anybody done something like that? I've ran livestock auctions for a sale barn near us. I've done a lot of things, but that all got me to where I'm at today. And I feel like surrounding yourself with people and taking information from each other can really build you as a person and build you as a business owner. So when somebody is in this room and they're saying something about pop-up shops or live selling, and you're like, well, I'm not a live seller, you can learn something from them. I guarantee you, I've learned something in every space I've sat in, every business I've ran. So I'm hyped to bring all that information to you guys, not just today and tomorrow and Wednesday. I mean, we just have a few short hours together, but I teach retail boot camp. I teach retail owner basics as well. You'll see me inside the membership on 1,000 different educational sessions. So that's what I'm all about. I'm an open book. And I really want to make sure you guys don't make a lot of the same mistakes I did. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. So I'm excited. This is going to be great.
So good. Sarah and I, we're so lucky. Sarah, I'm so lucky to get to coach with you. This is something I love so much. This is my favorite time of year, not just kicking it off with Best Year Yet Challenge, but as we get into retail boot camp, Sarah and I coach live together every week with our students inside a retail boot camp. And the cool thing is, I'm sure many of you had parents or family members that told you this growing up. My dad always said this to me, but he's like, it's not always what you know, but it's who you know. And that's like, when I think about Sarah joining our team here at the Boutique Hub so long ago, I wasn't, the retailer Sarah was. It's not what I know, but it's who I know. And that's our motto here at the Hub. How do we surround ourselves with some really amazing experts who excel in different areas of business so that we can bring all that knowledge and information to you? So over the next 3 days, you're going to hear Sarah talk a lot about team and inventory and leadership in different areas of business. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about content, marketing, traffic, leadership, prioritization of being a CEO. We bring different aspects to the table that I hope you guys can really get some nuggets from, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's talk about what's going to happen today and the next couple of days. So today, again, this is exciting. We've never done it like this before. We're bringing 4 retailers to the Zoom screen here in a minute who really overcame some amazing obstacles and had amazing years. Even in a really tough economy last year, these guys really excelled. Can't wait for you to meet them. We're also going to go over some framework on, raise your hand if you've already done your goal setting for the next year. Like you've tried to plan out goals, maybe your word of the year, all those things. Well, in order to really plan forward, I want to encourage everybody to first take a step back. And so even if you've already planned forward, we're going to go over the framework to also look back in order to plan forward. We're going to dig into productivity and leadership and some of my favorite tools to get you in that CEO mindset. And then finally, we're going to talk about all things operations and company culture and some EOS tools we're going to throw in there that you can hopefully cast across your team. If you guys have employees, if you have a team, drop that in the chat as well. It's always helpful to see who here is a solopreneur and who here is also building as a team as you go. Now, as we get into today and the next 2 days, Sarah and I have a very specific framework that we love to think about retail in. And it's a 6-layer framework. I'm going to show it to you here in just a minute. You can take a picture of this screen so you can save it, reflect on it later. But today we're starting at the base of that framework. It's the leadership portion. It's all about the foundation of the business that you're building. So we look at it like this. I want you to start down at the bottom in the hot pink section. This is the 6 layers of business. Our team lovingly calls this the 6 layers of lasagna. I don't know how that came about. Jeff Fenn, I'm pretty sure, came up with that. But we talk a lot about the crunchy cheese layer on top, which I think is everyone's favorite part of lasagna. And the funny thing is, this is kind of why the 6-layer formula exists, is everybody wants to start with the crunchy cheese layer. Everyone thinks that the secret to success in business is marketing, traffic, social media. I just need to run paid ads, right? That's all I need. Wrong. No. Why would you run paid ads if you have a leaky bucket and you haven't really set your business up to be profitable and you haven't trained your team and you yourself aren't yet a leader? So we started this foundation layer. Foundation is all about your own vision as a CEO versus an entrepreneur. It's about building a brand. It's about mindset and productivity. And then it's about building an operation plan. So if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, your business could continue to operate even without you. Sarah, do you want to hit some of the next layers?
You bet. So then after you have your foundation, right, that solid foundation of which we can build on, now it's time to go to market. Now it's time to get our finances in order. Now it's time to start profit planning. So a lot of times, Ashley said, people like to start at that crunchy cheese layer. The other thing we hear a lot about is, yeah, I already went to market. I went to market and I have all this inventory. Now I need to find my customers. That's not the right order. So we want to say foundation, brand, vision, mindset, all of those things. Get your SOPs put together, then start looking at like building out those products, building out that profit plan, understanding who your customer is, right? That who am I serving? So that's what comes in the products, that foundation, the products layer. Then we move into team. And we know, I see a lot of you guys saying you're solo. That's awesome. But the bigger you get, the bigger your problems, but the thing is, you still only have the 24 hours in a day, right? So you're going to need some team. You're going to need the infrastructure. You're going to need that support. So we want to teach you all about the hiring, the firing, all of those kind of things, managing your employees, payroll, all that. Then from there, right? Once we have that in place, then we can really take it to that next level with sales. And come sales, you guys saw all the different sales channels, right? We asked you that earlier in the chat, like who's brick and mortar, who's online, who does pop-ups, live selling, all the things. So at that point, now we want to diversify and say, okay, how many different angles am I coming at my said customer with the products that I'm invested in? And so that's what sales is about. And it's not just about, hey, here I have a black dress on social media, right? We're going to talk about sales channels. We're going to talk about merchandising. We're going to talk about training your staff for sales, all of those things. I think that stuff is really, really fun. And then I'm going to hand it over back to Ashley on the content.
Yeah, we're getting into the melty cheese layer. This is all about content strategy. So I think one of the most stressful parts sometimes of the business is all the content we're creating all of the time. Anyone agree with that? You're like, dang it, it's Thursday. What did I post today on Instagram? What am I going to post tomorrow? Or gosh, I'm posting all of this stuff to Facebook, but is anyone really seeing it? Is this making a difference in my business? So we've got to be able to really set the tone that there's a difference between content strategy and marketing and traffic, two different windows. So we first start with the strategy. How much should you be posting? Where should you be posting? What is the definition of some really successful posts across TikTok, Instagram, Facebook? They're all different. Pinterest, again, totally different. So what's the strategy? We've got to start there. And I really like to do something that we're going to look at on Wednesday called the retail traffic formula, where we can equate your sales goal, your average order value, your conversion rate, all the way down to the traffic that you actually need to be driving. So I'll give you all that information again on Wednesday. So that's content strategy. And then finally, the crunchy cheese layer on top. This is where the marketing and traffic really comes to play. So we deep dive into each social media channel strategically, email marketing, text marketing, paid traffic on Facebook, Google, Pinterest, TikTok, and then of course, traditional marketing. So PR, postcards, collaborations, radio, print, all of those pieces. So when you're thinking about your business and where do I focus in my business, we really want you to think about this in a 6-layer from the bottom up strategy. So you can see maybe where you're weak, where you're strong. The only way to continue to build that business and keep layering on the success is we've got to have a really good foundation first. So that's where we're going to get into it all today. All right, as we get started today, we've got a little giveaway. Are you guys ready? Who likes free stuff? So if you're here, I would love it if you would take out your phone at any point during the training today, take a picture, tag us on Instagram at the Boutique Hub. And we're going to give away 2 things. We're going to give away an opportunity to win a free resale bootcamp with us. So we'll do that. We'll announce the winner on Wednesday. And then anyone, since Retail Bootcamp opens today, anyone who purchases Retail Bootcamp in the next 3 days who are new enrollees, we're going to be giving away a free VIP session with Sarah and I. That's one-on-one coaching. It's a free session with Jeff Ben, and it's 4 small group sessions as well. So those are our giveaways happening this week, and we're going to announce all of the winners on Wednesday. So that should be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sarah. Let's talk about this. Let's get into it. You guys ready to get started?
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, we're going to be bringing on our guests here in a little bit, and you're going to get to hear from them straight away what they have implemented over the last year, what they have learned. And, you know, the thing is, everybody, it's just bred into us. I don't know. It's one of those things that, especially on social, the scrolling of the thumbs, you always see what somebody else has. And you're just like, oh gosh, I want to be that person. I want to be that person. Well, then we get a message that says, how do I, right? And I saw somebody say, how do I achieve success? I'm a small town business owner. How do I do it in my small town? And we want to say, you know, these are the consistent common factors, right? We're seeing our retailers that have went on from last year and best year yet, where there's, you know, they're here, they're starting, they're setting goals, to now coming around full circle 365 days later and are like, I'm killing it. It's going, like I reached my goals in September. You know, we're getting these messages saying, I did it. And here's what happens. They were coachable, right? They took the classes, they took the time, they showed up, they were nimble. When something wasn't working, they recognized it, they would try something, test something, and they were nimble to pivot here and there. We don't necessarily like to use the word pivot, right? But at the same time, we have to read the play. We have to read the play. If you don't know, I talk sports all the time. And you never know what's coming at you, right? What's the defense going to bring at us, right? And we have playbooks. We try to, you know, be ready for all these things. But at any given day, any Monday morning, you walk into your store, you turn on your computer, and who knows what happened, right? They have to be nimble. Successful retailers are nimble. Retail boot camp, Boutique Black, those are two common denominators that we are seeing inside successful retailers. It's because they are focusing on these 6 layers of their business. They're not just jumping and focusing on the real fun, really fancy things, right? They're over the idea, I want to show up on Instagram for my friends and family to think I'm successful. They're over that. They have dove in and become very disciplined in those foundations of their business and tried things, tested them, repeated what was to be repeated. They made adjustments where that had to be. But they also were able to take some risks. Risks are, I mean, that's one of those things that it can be very hard. And sometimes people by nature are more risk tolerant than others. And we're going to talk about that here today. So, we just want to identify something, inside you personally. Like there's going to be your personal reaction to money, to failure, to success, all of those things. So understanding your risk tolerance, you do this when you do investments, right? But it's also important to understand this when you're building a business. What am I capable of? What are some of those things that are holding me back? And then next, positive outlooks. Positive outlooks. Not being the negative Nancy, not coming in with just a negative mindset. Oh, yep, woe is me. I can't do it. I live in a small town. Oh, woe is me. My Facebook got hacked. Oh, woe is me. Blah, 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 right? There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be internet outages on a snowy snowstorm ice day in the middle of the United States right now, right? There's going to be those things. But if that's you, I promise you've got to be able to have that positive outlook and say, hey, what is in my control that I'm going to take action on and look at this through a positive lens, right? And then obviously the last one, I mentioned this a little bit, but willing to test it out, willing to jump in and test it and find out, yes, this is what's going to work for me. This is how it's going to work for me. And not just say, oh, that's not going to be me. That's not for me. That's for that other person. That's for that other business owner that I see on Facebook all the time that's just killing it. I'll never be that. So those
So
are the common things, guys.
it's so true. Retail is a business of ups and downs and how you play them. I mean, the majority of you who are here, like we saw in the poll, have been in business for 5 to 10 years or longer. So you guys know, like, can I get an amen if you're like, it is the ups and the downs? And the question and the statement have to shift. Like the conversation has to shift from this will never work for me, or this is not working for me, to how can I make this work for me? How can I make this work for me? And when you do that, it opens up the opportunity in your brain to find the evidence to support the outcome of that answer. And let's get into it, Sarah. These are the 4 guests we're going to be joining us. Let's start adding them to the room if we can, because these guys did a really great job of answering that question correctly this year. Dana, I can't say enough as we add Dana to the room. You guys can read a little bit about her bio here on the screen, but let me just give you this nutshell. When Dana and I first started to speak, probably a year and a half ago, this is what happened. Many of you maybe saw this happen in the news. Do you guys remember Jane.com? Jane.com. Well, Dana was a retailer who was left with about $150,000 in unpaid payouts when Jane.com went under. And so she came and she was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do about this? It was a major hit. A lot of people would have said, okay, that's it. I'm folding up. I'm closing up shop. I'm owed 150 grand of payouts I did not receive. And she's like, nope, that's it. I'm digging in. And so Dana showed up I think it was last January, if I remember right, to Retail Boot Camp, showed up every session, did the work, put in the effort, literally rebuilt her company from the ground up. And then she got into Boutique Black, learned how to run her own Facebook ads, Google ads, really mastered her e-commerce strategy. And Dana has a business that is 100% back. It is an incredible story of what Dana overcame. So if we can add Dana and the rest of our guests, I know you guys are working on it.
Let's see what else right now.
Are they coming in?
We're having a little technical difficulty, so we'll.
All right. As you guys are working on it, I'm going to keep going on with the rest of our guests here, okay? Yep. So Sandy Cooley is going to be joining us. Sandy is one of the just happiest people you are ever going to meet. Sandy's been in Retail Boot Camp, I don't know, too many times to even count, like multiple years. And every time I see Sandy, she's got a huge smile on her face, even when things have not gone her way. I don't know, when Sandy gets here, I've got to ask her that how long ago it was that she completely lost her Facebook. Everything, ad account. I mean, it was a complete cluster. Everything got hacked. We were able to help Sandy get that back, and she rebuilt her entire business, going live, doing the work, running ads. She's been working with Jeff for an awfully long time, and she's a joy to be around. So I'm so excited for Sandy to be here as well from Lucy Doo. Okay, Carrie. Oh man, Carrie's incredible. Carrie is like such a just hardworking, humble human being. She's been a part of Retail Bootcamp and Boutique Hub Black. She's been in our mastermind here at the Hub. She is just a builder and a doer. If you look at these stats for her business right now, I mean, she has been blowing up in a big way. She's got a beautiful online business, brick and mortar business. I know some of you have gotten into the color analysis. Carrie's done a great job early on before people were really into that of building collections around some of that color analysis. So she's got a really great inventory management system she's been putting into place, and just driving traffic has been a huge success for her here in the last year. All right, and then finally joining us today, Gretchen Hilly. Okay, Gretchen has been like an OG member of the Boutique Hub, you guys. She is somebody I've had a front row seat. Sarah's had a front row seat to watch her grow. Literally just the other day, I found an old spreadsheet where she did, before it was Retail Bootcamp, it used to be called Boutique Bootcamp, and she had a numbers tracking sheet. And in this numbers tracking sheet, Gretchen, I hope you don't mind if I say this, but her goal at that time, it was like $10,000 a month. She was just scratch and digging to make $10,000 a month. She's a teacher that had just quit her job teaching and was going all in on being a retailer. And this was probably, I'm gonna guess 2018, maybe. Since then, Gretchen has built an incredible business. And the thing that I love about how Gretchen built this business was it was completely family first. Her husband, Casey, works in the business with her now. Her son is a part of the business. They're able to travel. They live a Western, like a rodeo lifestyle, which is something Sarah and I also are involved in. And since, I mean, Gretchen's built an incredible 8-figure business, doing live selling with Comment Sold, not even with the live aspect of it. She did a lot of it before even going live. It kind of proves that you guys can have that same approach as well. And of course, Gretchen will be speaking this year at the Boutique Summit, so we can't wait to hear more from her there as well. All right, these are 4 awesome women. Holy smokes, can we have a big welcome for everybody? I see Dana. All right,
Sarah, we getting the other ones. We had to send a whole new Zoom link. Dana, we got you in. Whew. That was some fast typing over here.
All right, well, as everyone else is jumping in, let's start. Sarah, I know you've got some questions for Dana as we first get started while everyone else is jumping back in with the new link.
I just want to say, and all right, Carrie's coming in too. So you guys, you got the bio on Dana, and we're super excited to see where Dana has come in the last year. We have done one-on-one coachings with Dana, both Ashley and I have. We've worked with her on a number of different levels, but we've listened to her story from where she was, what happened with everything with the Jane.com thing, like Ashley mentioned, and where she's at today. And to be very honest, like we followed that journey, but then she has went on through Retail Bootcamp into Boutique Black, and everybody on the panel today, when we talk with Jeff Fenn, who you guys will get to meet tomorrow, Jeff was like, hands down, yes, get Dana on there. Dana's got a story to tell. So Dana, I'm going to turn it over to you. Give us just give us some highlights of 2024 and what you've overcome, and I know the panel or everybody here today wants to hear from you, wants to hear that story.
Thank you, Sarah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for such kind introduction. I am just thrilled to be here. I love the Boutique Hub. But let's be honest, running an online business has taught me anything. It's like, feels like you're an episode of Survivor, especially in 2024. 2024 was next level for Lineberry. It wasn't just surviving, it was about rebuilding, like Sarah said, from the ground up. And let me tell you, it pushed me to limits that I didn't even know that I had. From navigating the loss of Jane.com of $150,000 and the chaos that I discovered something incredible: resilience, resourcefulness, a community of experts that wouldn't let me give up. So I started Lineberry in 2013. And from 2013 to 2023, Lineberry was pretty much focused on selling our graphic tees through Jane.com. I was one of their top resellers, their top sellers, generating over 3.5 million in yearly sales. In November of 2023, when Jane.com suddenly shut down, they left sellers unpaid for 6 weeks of sales, and Lineberry's owed over $150,000. For the first time, I faced $130,000 in operational expenses with no funds coming in to back those costs. This was the first time that Lineberry had ever been in debt. Looking back, I felt like I was standing in the middle of a storm, not knowing which way to turn, just desperately trying to hold everything together and salvage the company that I loved. In January, I made the decision that if I wanted to recover quickly, I had to lean into the experts, and that's where Retail Bootcamp came in. Lineberry already had the right products. I had 10 years of experience knowing what graphic tee designs consumers wanted. I had the production processes, the equipment, but what I didn't have was the marketing, and that was the key piece to drive growth. So I joined Retail Bootcamp. I joined the VIP for expert coaching from Ashley, Sarah, and Jeff. Their insights were invaluable, and what really shifted things for me in the beginning was their recommendation to connect with Christine Gray of She Profits Now. With the $150,000 in debt accumulating at 30% interest, I needed financial clarity, and Christine was exactly the accountant I needed to guide me. She helped me map out a plan and manage the crisis and rebuild with confidence. And that way I could focus more on marketing versus just the debt that I had to deal with. But to be real, balancing the sudden decrease in revenue while trying to grow was brutal. Patience and resilience is what I learned in 2024. I was stuck in this massive warehouse with sky-high rent. I had operational expenses to trim. I had a net 30 lawsuit that I couldn't pay, and employees I had to let go. This was some of the hardest decisions I've ever made, but step by step, I started to rebuild a stronger foundation. Retail Bootcamp became my lifeline. Every week, there is so much gold in the sessions. Ashley and Sarah are a phenomenal team, and their expertise helped me to see my business with fresh eyes. But I committed to the work. Every week, I implemented what I learned piece by piece. I also joined Boutique Hub Black, where I dove into meta ads, website conversion tips, Google Analytics, Pinterest ads with Jeff and his team. The weekly coaching calls gave me the much insight into what was working for other boutiques that I could implement. This community is incredible, and it gave me the confidence to push forward. So in June, I attended Summit, something I dreamed of doing since I saw Ashley's first recap back in 2018. Finally being there, surrounded by industry leaders and soaking up their wisdom, felt like a turning point. The support felt there by the entire Boutique Hub team is incredible, and so wonderful to meet everyone in person. So if you have a chance to go, make it happen. So 2024 forced me to be brutally honest with myself about Lineberry. I had to ask what's working, what's not, what needs to change for us to thrive. I started to trim costs where I could. I scheduled employees' work based on actual sales versus their set hours. I made tough decisions to let team members who weren't moving the needle go. And then with my lease ending in early 2025, I decided to downsize our warehouse space to something more practical for our current needs. These choices weren't easy, but they were absolutely necessary. On the creative side, I got scrappy. I revamped Lineberry's website to improve conversions. I made social media my focus. It was uncomfortable. During my one coaching call with Ashley, she pointed out that my page was missing a personal face and voice, and she was right. I knew I had to show up and let people see me, not just my products. So I got on camera, shared my story, started building real connections with my audience, and it's working. Mm-hmm. I also leaned into growing the wholesale side of Lineberry. I focused on building relationships with amazing boutiques through Fair and Hubintory. From my time on Jane, I knew Lineberry could crank out orders quickly and with precision. One of the biggest pain points in graphic tee wholesale industry is turnaround time. So I made sure Lineberry delivers faster than competition. I pride myself on our wholesale boutiques receiving their orders within a week. And after everything we've been through, it was time to refresh Lineberry's branding at the end of the year. A clean start with updated branding was the fresh energy I needed and felt so good to let our old logo go and our brand colors. I also learned that growth isn't about what you add, but it's about what you're willing to let go of. This past year, saying no was just as important as saying yes. I said no to focusing on the gap Jane left behind. I wasn't going to sit around mourning lost numbers or comparing myself to those multi-million-dollar days. That was a trap, and I had to shift my energy towards what I was building and not what I lost. I also said no to desperate selling. You know the kind, slashing prices, chasing sales just to make a quick buck. Instead, I focused on profitability because sales without profit is just busy work. I had to let go of a few deal-focused influencers as I could no longer meet their perceived deal for graphic tees. I said no to my favorite warehouse and office. Letting go of my office and studio space is really hard. It is a beautiful space, something I've dreamed of, but now it's an expense that I just don't want. It's just a space, not the heart of my business. And I said goodbye to free up cash to actually use for the business. If I'm being real, there are days I just want to cry in the corner, call it quits, but I just get to work at those moments and shift my mindset. I showed up every week to retail boot camp, even when I was exhausted. I made myself tune in because I knew the wisdom Ashley, Sarah, and the guest speakers shared could change everything, and it did. I didn't just listen, I implemented, I let go of what wasn't working, tried new strategies, and reminded myself that rebuilding takes time. I also leaned hard into grit. Long hours, late nights, weekends, you name it, I was there putting in the work. This wasn't just about hustling, it was about being strategic. I kept my eye on the prize, the vision for Limeware's future, and brand. Even when the progress felt slow, I knew it was adding up to be something bigger. So here I am on the other side of 2024, and let me tell you, I am proud of the grit, the growth, and the work that's gone into making Limeberry stronger than ever. This year wasn't about huge, flashy wins. It was about laying the foundation, a solid one to build on for years to come. 2025 is going to be about smart, focused growth, and I'm so ready to leave 2024 behind. I wouldn't be here without this community, without the Boutique Hub. The team constantly reminds me that I'm not alone, I'm capable, and the Limeberry best days are still ahead. So anyone sitting here wondering if you could do it during the hard days to grow, let me tell you, you can. Just show up, do the work, believe in yourself when it feels impossible. I'm excited for 2025, and I can't wait to hear your stories too and cheer all of you on.
I love it. Well, now that part of, if I don't know, does anybody else have Kleenexes ready? Dana, girl, this is what it's all about. I mean, being inspired by others. I see so many people saying this in the chat, and you guys knowing where Dana was a year ago, where she was a few years ago, just and now where she's at. Oh gosh, man, virtual hugs to you, sister. I love it. I just love the discipline, the dedication, the like I said earlier, all those core values of a successful boutique owner. You have them all, and it hasn't been easy, and I know it hasn't. I think that was why it was so important to have you on this call for people that think this is just, yeah, I have a passion for fashion and I want to start a boutique, and this is gonna, I'm gonna make it work. And it's like, yeah, we can make it work, but it's going to be blood, sweat, and tears getting in there. So, but look at you coming out on top. I love it. Now I am going to get my Kleenex.
Oh, I'm excited. When I started like doing the work and the grit, like I knew, and working the long hours, there's days I worked like 12 hours a day just to get things done. And I knew that I could do it just for like a whole year, right? I'm like, I could do this constant work for a year. So I did that, and I'm excited this year to move some of those things to employees, move things like kind of free up my evening space, and, a little bit more focus on family after the foundation being laid.
I love it.
Dana, I'm so proud of you. I mean, Sarah always says, if you're not winning, you're learning. And this has been such a year for just learning. And I love that you said like everything you did, you just went back to the foundation. And I think sometimes we kind of lose sight of that as we grow and scale. I know you and I've had this conversation, like we just keep thinking bigger is better, bigger is better. But it's really not. It's better is better. And this year you just dug back in to make better, better. So to watch you, like, I'm just like, my mom heart wants to just like pump out of my chest right now. I'm so proud of you. This is a tough business, but it's worth it. And you're just such living proof of that. Thanks for the example that you've given just, man, for all of us. It's highs and lows. It's not if, but it's when. You're such a shining example of how to overcome the tough stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Very cool. And the girls will be after we chat a little bit here, they'll be available for some Q&A and things at the end too. And all of you guys that are Boutique Hub members, they're in the hub all the time. And so that's what the Boutique Hub is all about, together collaborating and leaning on each other for support and getting it where you need it. So more of that to come. Yeah. All right, Miss Carrie. Miss Carrie, let's hear from you. You have accomplished a lot in 2024. I'm a fangirl, a fellow Husker, Nebraska, go Big Red. Let's hear from you. What are your big takeaways and advice?
Gosh, it was a kind of a crazy year. I feel like in 2023, I went through a little bit of burnout, just kind of pushing hard, just kind of trying a lot of different things. And so I went into 2024 with the mindset that I was just going to kind of dig deeper and look at it and just try to be better coming out of this year. So we implemented lots of new processes with our inventory. That has really helped. Before, I'll be honest, we were just kind of winging it and I was just buying what I liked and trying a lot of different things, and really dug into my inventory numbers to see what we could do and how we could market around what I brought in. And that was great. It was an awesome learning year for that. So I'm excited to take everything we learned this year and kind of really hone in. I feel like we knew who our customer was before, but after this year, we really know kind of what they want. So just kind of re-looking at that for the whole year, and that was great. So moving that into this year will be an awesome takeaway. And then one of the things I really wanted to do was ads. We've played with it the last couple of years. I've gone through a couple different ad agencies. They just weren't for me. I felt like it was just spending a lot of money and not moving anywhere. So I joined Boutique Hub Black, and that was amazing. We look forward to Jeff's calls every week. We always learn something and we're always implementing it right away. And he's a really nice help. It just was really fun to take the class and like know right away to start my ads. We started in I think May, and now we've been running ads consistently and seeing success since. So that was one of my biggest takeaways from the last year. And that's why we launched our new website, because it made me look at our conversion rate was maybe a little bit lower than I wanted it to be. And just some of the things he was kind of saying. So we decided one day, and about a week later, it was a lot of work, but we launched it like a week later. And so that was a really fun thing we did. And all of that came from Boutique Hub Black.
Awesome. And Jeff will be our guest tomorrow. He will be here teaching in Best Year Yet tomorrow. So you guys will get to hear a lot more about that. Carrie, you hit on something, and Dana, you did too, about the epiphany of like realizing who your customer really is. And I think that's when, Ashley and I were talking about the foundations of business and how we teach everything here at the Boutique Hub, from general membership, retail boot camp, Boutique Hub Black, all the things. It's knowing that customer. So when that epiphany kind of like the light bulb goes on, right? And you're able to say yes to some people, no to other things, right? Like that, it narrows that focus down. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm not gonna lie, I was just on your website again yesterday, and you've got it nailed down so strong. How did you do that?
Just kind of over the years, I started out with the mindset of it's kind of like a middle-aged woman. And then I think of my sisters, and from that, it's kind of evolved into like just seeing our customers and trying different things. And just now to like really knowing where they're going, what they're doing, what they want to wear. I mean, obviously, we have a sales section, but it's just really thinking about that all the time. And I think it was Carly when I was in Mastermind, like we were talking about, we now call her Jessica, and like we know we know what Jessica's doing. And so that's what I always think about when I'm going to market or buying, like, is this going to be something she's going to be comfortable in? Is this something she could wear to work, out for a weekend? So, and then like the whole color thing, we started with the colors a couple of years ago, really thinking about all that stuff as a whole to what we bring in.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm a fangirl. I love to see where you've come since we first met. I appreciate you showing up today and helping out and giving some tips of advice. So yeah, go Huskers. Thank you very much. And we'll be seeing more of you. So also hang out for some more questions at the end. Let's see. Let's go to Sandy. Sandy, what's going on with you? I am super excited. Jeff was really, he was very confident we needed to get you on this call too, as we were kind of looking over some things and saying, wouldn't people love to hear from boutique owners that really persevered in 2024? And Sandy's kind of giggling over there. So Sandy, Cooley, where are you from? Tell us about your store and tell us about, why you think we have you on here today. What have you really overcome?
Well, I think I was telling my husband yesterday, I think that I'm on this call because of um, I'm the person that never has given up, despite I think Jeff said it one time, every roadblock that could be thrown my way has come. And I am not a quitter. I laugh because my mother was given she's 83 and she's a doll. And she was given a 1,000-piece puzzle in July. And she's been working on that puzzle since July. And she said, I said, Mom, it's ridiculous. You're not going to frame it. I mean, let's just, and she goes, I am not a quitter. I am not a quitter. And so anyway, I guess I get it honest. But anyway, I am from Mississippi originally, and I live in Texas. I am in the Woodlands near Houston, and I always wanted to be a buyer for a store. That's always what I wanted to do. I'm a Baylor Bear and majored in marketing and all. But back in the day, because I'm older than all of you guys, I that was not something. I'm not a brown nose kind of girl, and that was in my mind, that was what was a key part of that was like kissing up to people that really wouldn't normally want to be around. Anyway, so I just never pursued it. And then went to work in insurance and everything. And then again, got married, had our first child. And I was like, I always got compliments on what I wore. And I thought, maybe I could do something with this. And then it just sort of went from there. Y'all, I've been in business 26 years. You wouldn't know it by a lot of stuff, but I basically started over. I would tell anyone, if you are starting out, like partner with Boutique Hub in any form you can. If it's just the membership, if it's, find the money, do the RBC, like that was key for me because I feel like the first, I think I've been in Boutique Hub maybe 7 years. I've done RBC like 6 of those years, multiple times. But and then Black, I've been in Black for the last year. But I just think that had I known what I know now, had I known it for the first, you know, 20 years, 18 years of my business, it would just be totally different. I've learned so much. Like I can't even tell you. I have had the Facebook hacking. That was actually, you were mentioning it earlier. That was right before I went to LA experience in the year of COVID.
Yeah.
That year of COVID. And it was insane. And I mean, I lost all of it. And I was so afraid I was going to have to turn around and, just start over, and then got it back. And then, I've had my pixel's been been corrupted. I mean, there's just everything. But y'all, the lesson from me today is look at your purpose, because I yes, I wanted to be one of like you other ladies who have these massive boutiques that, that to me originally that was a matter of success. Like that was a symbol of success in my mind, is because I have a drive that I want to, provide extra things for my family. I want to do special, I want to give, I want to, I'd love to be one of those people that just sort of like anonymously drop money in people's, like a little fairy, just like drop money in people's lives. That was my goal. But the Lord has never really I've got a sun thing on me, sorry. The Lord has really never given that to me yet. But my purpose, I believe, in sticking it out is to build relationships, is to I can't even tell you, and I'll start to cry if I think about it, but the conversations that I've had with people who have been in a similar situation or that have really had a tough time going through something, for me to be able to inspire them to hang in there and to keep trudging forward and maybe strip down things that you would have focused on before, but focus on the stuff that really matters. To me, I think that that's probably my purpose, but I'm not going to give up. And I'm not going to, this last year, 2024, I had the first success that I've had with ads, because I've always felt like I'm on a beach and I'm watching this wave out there and everybody's surfing this wave and everybody's doing all the things. And I'm over here going, wait, here I am. I'm over here. And so this last year, I feel like through the help of Boutique Hub, I don't even know what I would do without the support and just the boutique black. Like that has been a real, RBC is fabulous. And I go back to lessons, y'all. I have all my stuff. I am all in and I take notes and notes and notes and notes. And I go back in and I just redo it all the time. But the thing is that when I got in boutique black, especially, it was the individual help and being able to contact and be able to sort of like, guidance, like Dana said, like the guidance on how to do the ads and things like that. And I think that that is my biggest takeaway from 2024 was just to pick something that you want to work on. You say all the time, Ashley, like you can't tackle it all at once. You have to just pick something, take a little nugget and focus on that for this season, for this quarter, for this month, whatever it is. And then, and then build on that. And I think it is overwhelming when you think of all the things, because there's so many things. That lasagna looks really good, and you look at all the layers and you're like, okay, I want to eat the whole thing, but I have to start at the bottom. And I think for me, that's been my biggest blessing, my biggest challenge and blessing and gift, I think, from this whole process that I've learned over the last 26 years. So, because I was all online. I was all in person for the majority of my business, and then COVID happened, and being the first responder, so to speak, to my mom, I was like, I can't be, I had a small brick and mortar and pop-ups and everything, and I didn't know what to do. So I just decided to go all online, and that's pretty much starting over. If you're a brick and mortar and you're going to start over, going online only is really starting over. So, I think that, I did see major success in my business in 2024, and I'm very thankful. And looking ahead to 2025, I'm excited. I was a little down because I was like, okay, wait a minute, challenges get thrown in again, and that happens, but that's real life. So I'm looking ahead to this year, and I'm excited to build on what I've done in 24. So thanks for asking me to be a part of this week.
You bet. This is awesome. Thank you so much. I know I see everything in the chat. You guys are loving the real life experiences, the stories, and you're seeing consistencies in their stories. I know you are, and I love it. So thank you, Sandy, for jumping in and sharing your story with us. All right, last guest panelist today we have is Gretchen. Gretchen is also going to be a speaker at our boutique summit. So if you guys have not heard about this summit, it is hyped up and ready as you guys are right now about getting going in your business in 2025. The flame will kind of start to diminish a little bit come June, and we're all going to get together in person in Dallas, Texas for 2 days to unite together and relight that flame and just like just go crazy for the rest of the year. So the Boutique Summit is that revitalization in your business. And Gretchen is going to be speaking at that and telling her full story. But today we wanted to bring her here a little bit to talk a little teasers, because her business is a little different. Her business is a little different than what the other girls have been talking about so far. So Miss Gretchen Hilly, retail boot camper, Boutique Black, mastermind, summit speaker. Gretchen, you check all the boxes. Girl, how's it going? Tell us a little bit about you and your business.
I just want to start out by saying when y'all turned my camera on, I was shook because everybody has a really cute background and this is my office. And I promise this bag right here isn't like a 40 or something. It's actually full of turquoise. So just like, just throw that out there. All right. So also before we start, when y'all did the poll about like what region you're from, like I did not know what to click for Texas. People try to call Texas the South. It is not the South. I'm from Alabama. Texas is its own thing. Like, was I supposed to click South or Southwest? Like, what was I
You
supposed to
want Texas to just be Texas? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? That's
Yeah.
totally Texan of you. Yes, that's very Texas of you. We'll do better for that.
If you're from the Southeast on here, like comment like if Texas counts as the Southeast, because it does not. It does not. Look, they're saying it. See?
They are. All right, y'all, we will do better. All right, Beth, I know you're taking notes. Tomorrow, we will have that fixed. Texas will have its own little box to click.
Okay. All right. So, first of all, I taught for 13 years, and as a teacher, like the number one most important thing that I could do was professional learning. Like I always had a stack of professional books on my nightstand. I was always reading about teaching reading, teaching literacy, all of the things. And then when I became a boutique owner, it was kind of like rant, rant, like, you know, what is there? And thankfully, very quickly, the boutique hub was actually just in existence when I started, and I was able to jump on board. So the number one thing that you can do for yourself, I truly believe, is professional learning. And like what Sarah, I think it was Sarah that said earlier, just like being coachable. Like it doesn't matter if you are making multi-million dollars a year, you can learn something from every single person in this room. You can learn from somebody making 10,000 a month. If you're making $1 million a month, it doesn't matter. Like we are all here to learn, and everybody has something. So never think that you don't have anything to provide. And you know, yes. So what was the question, Sarah? I'm going off the cuff. I didn't have anything prepared.
Sarah, you're muted.
That is normal. That is normal, Gretchen, just off the cuff. Like, I mean, well, I didn't expect any different, sister. So here's the thing. Tell us about your store. Tell us about like, can we just acknowledge some of the late night texts that Ashley and I used to get from you at like the witching hour of, I'm done, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm quitting. This is craziness. Can we talk about that for a second?
Okay. Yeah, so I am 100% comment sold, but I am not that person who goes live every single day. I go live twice a week. So my business does not revolve around a nonstop live schedule taking my life away. I also go live during the day because I'm not going to take away time from my family. However, with that said, I am going live tonight. So in the month of January, I'm going live on Monday nights just to see what happens. But that's because my family is in Arizona living the dream and I'm here by myself. So whatever. So yeah, so I started out comment sold like in the beginning, back when it was do y'all remember like when people would just put the flat lay in a Facebook group and then there would be like 200 comments, like back in the good days of the algorithm? That's when I started. And then I didn't actually jump on that live bandwagon when everybody started going live. So before, if you don't really know this, like comment sold did not start as a live selling platform. It started as a platform for people just to comment sold. They literally commented the word sold on Facebook, and then it was like having your own employee, because you'd put a picture of the sweater on Facebook, you'd have 200 comments, and this automatic system would go through and invoice all of these people. And that's the way it started. So I started that way. And then I jumped onto the live selling train a little bit.
Yeah, you and your husband. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he gets in there with you too. That's all.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yes.
I really, you're going to hear a ton about Gretchen, from Summit. But the thing about Gretchen that I just want to say is she knows her niche. She knows her people, and it she does not falter from it, and she owns it, and it is her lifestyle, it's her social, it's her personal social business, so everything works together. There is nobody confused about who Gretchen is or Rolling Ranch is, and I think that in amongst itself is so valuable. And I know there's some people on the call today that are like, gosh, I think people know who I am. And if you think they do, they don't. They don't. So Gretchen, kind of talk us through that just a little bit. Like what encouraged that? Where did that really dig in and come from?
Well, that's what somebody like probably 10 minutes ago had mentioned that they weren't sure that they knew who their customer was. And I read it. I don't remember who it was, but I found that interesting because I mean, I think we all go through that. So in the beginning, like whatever year I started, it was Western boutiques were these like, young hot chicks, and they all wore those long dusters with the bell bottoms. Do y'all remember that? And like, I'm 5'4", and those bell bottoms are like dragging the ground. I look short and squatty. I didn't who dress well, not who dress like that. A lot of people dress. I don't dress like that. Sorry. Um, y'all know I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. Like I'm a roping mom. Like I'm gonna wear a shirt like this with a pair of jeans and sneakers. I call myself sneaker mom. I am sneaker mom, roping mom. And the moment that I realized that that is who my customer was and that those were the people I was selling to, then everything changed. And it's all about that comparison game. Like everybody's always like, look at her, look at her, look at her. Well, I'm not her, I'm me. And people like me for who I am. So once I realized that and was able to like just take hold of that, everything changed. And honestly, my customer is like, I should do another poll, but like the kind of old ladies. I got a lot of old ladies in there. And you know what? Old ladies, they spend some money. Like it's truth. It's truth.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Knowing who your customer is. And I'll tell you from the rodeo world, Ashley and I are both team rodeo. There is those looks on social that you're like, how the heck are you going to saddle a horse in that? How are you going to load the trailer? How are you going to do the deal? And so then enter Gretchen is like super, I can wear Gretchen's clothes, saddle horses, go move cattle around. I can do all the deal. And I still feel, I still look the look. And so you answered the call of a lot of women. And whether you want to say middle age or whatever you want to say, that's fine. But it was like, I want to look the look, but I also want to be functional. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not just going to
like
stand
that
for a picture.
my customer was the lady who might get cow poo on their shirt.
Yes, yes, yes.
The ladies from the Virgin Islands in the UK right now are like, what are you guys even talking about, right? It's just, you guys are giving me life with this conversation. Never before has team rodeo versus team non-rodeo become so apparent. I love it, guys.
Yes. And Gretchen, for those of you guys are asking, it's Rolling Ranch Boutique.
Can I add one more thing?
Bet, absolutely.
Okay. So my big thing in my whole Spill 4 Summit is going to be build a business that works for you and your family. And that's like the whole thing that I have built this on. And we went, my family, during what most people consider the most busy 2 months of the year, November and December, my family went to Arizona and we roped. And
all right, I gotta pause that for a second. Did y'all just hear what Gretchen said? This gives me goosebumps, and this is goals. November and December, Gretchen took a pause in retail. Unheard of. Unheard of. Gretchen, and I saw you living your best life and enjoying it on, on the back of a horse, roping and doing all the things and just in the sunshine and all those things. So, man, you did the hard work. You put it in, work hard, play hard. So I just want to make sure everybody heard you because you were talking fast. That's a friggin' big deal.
yeah, like, and my family is still there. So like, yeah, it's about to ice in Texas or snow or something. And I'm trying to make sure everything is winterized, and they're in Arizona roping today.
Yeah.
Colt went roping last night. Like, what in the world? Okay. So anyway, that was our big thing, was building a business that works for us and our family. And that, you know, if it means that we're going to take away the 2 biggest months of retail to be in Arizona roping and living the dream, then we're going to plan out the rest of our year where it works and we're going to make it work. So, I just wanted to say, I heard on a podcast this morning, the person said, you deserve an extraordinary life and business. And I wanted to add to that, like, you deserve an extraordinary life and business, so create it. You have the ability to create that. All you have to do is define your vision of success and then go build it.
I love it. Gretchen, that's a perfect segue. This has been incredible. Let's get into the how. We're going to get into the how of how to do that next. So, and over the next 3 days. So can we have a round of applause, you guys, for our guests? We will keep you on. You feel free to shut your cameras off if you want. When we do Q&A, you guys, ask all the questions of these guys. Just as a time check, we're going to coach for about 15 more minutes on the how. And then we're going to do all the Q&A. If you guys are able to stay on with us, we would love it if you could talk to these guys in person here at the end of the call today. Thank you guys for being on with us. All right, let's talk about some how, Sarah. So one of the first things you brought up after hearing the stories of overcoming adversity is, let's just break it down, like 5 things to think of. If something's not going right this year, what do you fall back on? You want to talk about this?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, here's the thing I mentioned kind of earlier, like, what can I control in a situation? So if there's going to be adversity, you heard from these panelists, not one of them talked about how just smooth sailing it has been, right? Like, no adversity. No, that doesn't happen. That's not life. Life is messy. Amen. Life is messy. Business is messy. So when you're thinking about problems, having that, like, don't panic. What can I control in this situation? What parameters have I put in place, right? Like, what's my emergency plan? Do I have an emergency fund, my backup plans, all of these kind of things? Shopify goes down. What does that mean? So this is so important. We go into this so detailed in our coaching calls and especially in Retail Bootcamp, but the idea is that you want to sleep well at night. You want to lay your head down and know that when you get up in the morning, if you've got notifications or you've been hacked or all of the different things happen, or, you know, your team calls in and somebody's sick or whatever it might be, you've got a plan in place. So that's helpful, right? That's helpful in handling adversity. Number 3, communicate clearly and often. Never assume anyone knows the plan. I've talked with so many people, and they'll tell me about their business, and they'll tell me about their mission. They'll tell me about why they're doing what they're doing. And then I'll say, if you walked out on your sales floor right now and asked your customer or asked your staff why you have this business, would they be able to repeat anything you just said? Would they know? And most often they don't. So this goes from your mission and your vision, but like just your day-to-day tasks, right? Like, how many times is somebody ringing up the wrong sale in your business and you're like, what were you doing? That's not on sale this week. And then you go back and you're like, oh yeah, I guess I didn't communicate that clearly. So communication is so important. Comprehension is so important. Number 4, we talked about this ability to pivot and open to change. And then number 5, I think this, if anything came through what all the guests just mentioned, is nobody was doing this by themselves. I think it's okay as women for us to understand and say, hey, I need help. I am going to accept help, right? It's not out of charity. It's not out of my lack. It's just that I'm better with support, and there is support out there. Use your resources. You know, that's where the Boutique Hub comes into. That's where the community of support that you have here at the Hub. We understand who you are as retailers. We understand the trials. We understand the struggles. We understand the getting close to payroll and like, what do I do? I've had a slow month. All these bills are due. Those are conversations that we get, right? Your friends, your aunt, your grandma, your mom might not. Right? And that's fine. They're there to support you where they can. But this is what is so hard. To think that you're going to do this all on your own is craziness. To say something else about sports, I don't know if you guys watch professional sports, but they have many, many coaches, and those are AKA professionals. So I think that is one thing that we just want to make sure you guys know you have a place here. You have a place here at the Boutique Hub, and you have a support system to rally around you.
Absolutely, man. So let's move into the next, like, okay, if you guys have your workbooks, everyone have your workbook out. So in your workbook on that page 1, Sarah's got some fill in the blank questions for you just on those overcoming adversity questions. and on what is your plan and how are you communicating and who are you going to rely on, right? There's 3 types of friends. There's old friends, goodbye. There's maintenance friends, hello when I have to. And then there's growth friends, who are the people that see you not just for who you were, but for who you are and who you want to be and who you're going to be. And how are we surrounding ourselves with those growth friends? So that, I think, for a lot of people is a goal in the new year. How do I surround myself with the right group of friends going forward? So let's talk about this. Again, I asked you this at the beginning. We talked about how many of you've already started to plan your goals for the new year. I want you to think about, in order to look forward, we kind of have to look back a little bit and do a bit of an evaluation of what worked and what didn't. So maybe take a picture of this screen, or these questions are also, if you look at some of the goal setting process, if you have the Boutique Boss Planner, it's page 25, 26, and then 28, 29 of the Boutique Boss Planner. And you can kind of go through some of these looking back in order to look ahead scenarios in order to set that year up for success the right way.
And I think that's so important that you guys, if you have that Boutique Boss Planner, fill that out, take some time, because you're not just going to reference that today on whatever, is it January 6th today? That information is relative all year long. And next year, when you fill out your Boutique Boss Planner and you go back and you're like, holy crap, look at where I've come. Look at what I have done. Can you believe my thought process a year ago at this time? No wonder I stubbed my toe and I was not advancing as fast in certain things as I thought I was. My mindset was a little different. Look at the growth I've had. So that's why I love writing it down in a consistent place, especially like your Boutique Boss Planner, because you're going to use that planner all year round.
I love that. Yeah. If you look back, I mean, I keep looking at Gretchen on the screen and thinking about, again, those old conversations of, when Gretchen used to ask, like, who am I to do this? Who am I to do this? And now Gretchen, and you all can tell by listening to her, it's, why wouldn't I do this? Why not me? She's like a completely different person in that respect, mindset wise. And then if I think about it on the screen, this is how I think about you as a leader in your business. Every single one of you here, we all start as a hustling entrepreneur, but the goal in business is to move from being a hustling entrepreneur to a motivated CEO. And it's okay, like you might be 60-40, you might be somewhere in the middle. But again, Gretchen, I think about your journey moving from one to the other. The main difference is this: as we start as an entrepreneur, it's the relationship between time and money that changed the most. So as an entrepreneur, we're thinking about saving money, even if it takes more time. Whereas a CEO, we're like, hey, time's more important than money. So I'm going to leverage the money I have, even if it's just a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of money I do have to leverage to create more time. And then with that time, I can work on income generating activity. And that creates more money. So it's all a game, but it's what you focus on. Are you focusing on the time, or are you focusing on the money? I really want to get you guys, and this is the whole focus of Retail Bootcamp, to be frank, like this is it. How do we move you from being an entrepreneur to a CEO? So again, if we look at the difference, CEOs, we build systems, teams. We celebrate progress toward a big, scary long-term goal. We value ease, like taking November and December off. It's wild. We have clear boundaries, time blocking, right? We know our KPI. Carrie did a great job of talking about those numbers, like not just winging it, not just I'm going to order inventory by what's, in the bank, but I'm going to get into actually knowing my KPIs and having a strategy, not for growth just tomorrow, but long-term. And then ultimately, you guys, we have an exit plan. We're not just in this business because it's our identity, but we know why we're in this business and ultimately what we want to do with this business at the end of the day. And as an entrepreneur, when we start out, it's a lot of the opposite. It's DIYing and saving our way forward. And, Gretchen, I remember when you wanted to hire your first employee and that just freaked you out. You were like, I don't want someone coming to my home. I don't want to hire somebody, like that was a tough transition, but figuring that out. And entrepreneurs sometimes will get stuck in just task completion. Like today is better than yesterday, one day at a time, a number just a little bit bigger than it was before. And then again, work just becomes our identity. So how do we move from, just trying to make the business grow at any cost to being able to make this business fully operate without you? I'm curious, you guys drop me in the chat, like what percentage are you? Where do you see yourself in relation to these two things? Both, yes. Percentages, let's hear it. 50-50? Yeah. So in your goal setting process of this year, I want you to think about entrepreneur versus CEO. Set yourself a goal as to what percentage you want to move to. You know, moving to 100% CEO, I honestly don't know if that's possible. I think it's always a question of today, am I being a CEO or am I being an entrepreneur? Every single decision, you're being one or the other. So how can I get just 1% better every single day?
Mhm.
All right, one of the big things that we do, this is a tool that Sarah and I have talked a lot about using in order to get us to be a CEO versus an entrepreneur, is just the joy matrix. And understanding for you as a CEO, what do you really need to spend your time doing? Of course, the 20% of your list that gets you 80% of the results, the $100 an hour jobs versus the $10 an hour jobs, the income generating activities, but they have to be things that you love. So Sarah, do you want to talk about how to use this matrix?
Yeah. This is one of those things that, sometimes we just do, like we just do stuff. We just do tasks. And then somebody says, okay, have you considered hiring? And a lot of times I'll have people say, I don't know what I would hire for. Well, this is a really good place to start, right? And this is another thing inside Retail Bootcamp. We talk a lot about time management, priority management, all of those kind of things. And sometimes people just they kind of get locked into a routine, but at the end of the day, they're not having joy in what they're doing, right? That leads to burnout. So this joy matrix is basically just putting this graphing it, charting it on paper. What do you love doing and what are you good at? So what needs to be delegated? What are some of these things that you may find are not rating very high? And you're like, man, this is a great place for me to start delegating some things. This is a great place for my kids to get involved in. This is a big conversation I love to have about hiring your kids, right? Tax, benefits, all the things, separate conversation. We'll leave that for later. But when you do this joy matrix, you're kind of like, yeah, there's some things falling off my grid here that are easily delegated to somebody else. So I can put my best energy, my best Sarah Burks into those projects, right? That I love, that give me the most, in return, all of those things. So actually, I went ahead and did a little example on the next slide, just so you guys can see. So this would be like just 4 little things in Sarah's joy matrix, right? Like this graphic design thing in green. My skill set is pretty, my skill set is very low. The joy is medium. Let's be honest. I think it's fun, but I'm not good at it. I'm just not. It's not what God put me on this earth to do. So therefore, you see where that's charted. Team training. I love training my team. I enjoy being, helpful with that. I enjoy the systems and processes. I enjoy lifting people up. I enjoy training leaders, not levers, all of that. The skill set's high and the joy is high. That is not something I would ever want to hand off to somebody else, right? Buying inventory, same thing. Buying inventory was always one of those things in my business that, I felt I very much understood who my customer was. I understood going to market, negotiating with vendors, working through all of those kind of things. So my skill set was high and my joy was high. Website design, let's be honest. Nobody on the Boutique Hub team says, oh, we have a website issue. Let's talk to Sarah. It does not happen. It does not happen. Live sales, right? Like my skill set's medium, my love is medium. I'm like in the middle of this. So is that where Sarah really needs to spend her time? Or if there's somebody that I can surround myself with, like a Gretchen, right? That has much more skill set involved that I could delegate that out to, if Gretchen and I were on the same team. But this is just something really helpful. It's very easy to do. And I would encourage you to, use the workbook that you have, use that and do this with yourself. Do this personally. Do this in your home, right? Do this in your home. Do this with your husband. Do this with your team. All those people, whoever are in we call it like the oikos, right? Like that's your people, that's your circle. You could do this joy matrix with them.
I love it. All right, let's talk about a few other ways to plan out the year. So the joy matrix, I think, is a solid foundation, Sarah. Like, where do I really want to focus? And then how do I start those goals around it? So I'm just going to hit kind of high level, a couple of things. Those of you who have already set goals for the year, we think about it like this. We go into what that joy matrix is, and then what else is needed as the company to hit these numbers. And goals aren't just sales numbers. Goals are far more beyond just sales numbers. And we'll talk about that more in just a bit. But when I'm setting those goals, they've got to be smart, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. And then this is where EOS comes in. If you guys have ever read the book Traction by Gino Wickman, we've been running on EOS here as a company for probably, this is going on our 4th year, maybe. It's been a while. So when we set goals as a company, then that's just the first step. And that's where a lot of people actually stop. Okay, I set the goal, I'm going to roll on. But it's just the first step. So what you do next is really important. You take the overall goals that you've set for the year, and then we've got to make an action plan for them. So we break them down by quarter into quarterly rocks, as they call them in traction. And as we look quarter by quarter at the objectives in the action plan, the rocks that are going to get us to the goals, again, it's not just something we cast out to the whole company and go, here we go, good luck. But instead, every member of our team has personal rocks, personal goals that are directly attached to the company rocks and the company goals. So when, Susie comes in and asks for a raise, hey, Sarah, I think I should probably get a raise, don't you think? It's tough out there. We say, well, Susie, let's look at your rocks. Let's see how performance went this year. How many rocks did you achieve? How was your performance? Everyone on our team is directly accountable to the overall success of the company. Everyone knows the goal. Everyone knows the why. Everybody knows the action plan and how their role on this team directly implements or directly impacts the action plan. And then that has to come down into a weekly mechanism of tracking. For us, that's our company scorecard. Those of you, my retail boot campers in the audience, how many of you guys use that weekly scorecard that we give you in retail boot camp every single week, right? It's like the basis for everything you do. It's a spreadsheet where every week you're putting in your numbers so that you as a leader and your managers, right? Or the entire team know exactly what the score is. And as Sarah said, we're a basketball family over here. So when we think about playing sports, could you imagine playing basketball or football or whatever the game is and not knowing the score? Like, if you don't know the score, you don't know what play to run. If you don't know what quarter you're in, you don't know how you're performing, you know what the purpose of the game is. Like, we have to know the score in order to be successful. So as a business owner, your scorecard is, again, not just sales, but we're looking at what's our average order value, what's our traffic, what's our conversion rate, what's our inventory on hand, what's the aging of the inventory that's on hand. We've got to look at all those numbers week over week to see where we're being successful. And then finally, last thing I wanted to mention, just on setting up the plan for the year, how many of you guys did a vision board this year? Out of curiosity? I wish I could turn my screen around and show you. I did my vision board a little bit different. I printed out everything on my board is on an 8x10 sheet of paper, and I have one wall next to my computer desk, and the whole wall is my vision board. Like, it is big, and when I sit here, I see exactly what I'm focused on, right? And it's not just things you want to accomplish or things I want to attract in my life, or I want this vacation, but it's who do I want to be? How do I need to show up? Who do I want to be? What is my word of the year? What is my focus for the year? What is at the center of my vision board? So Sarah, you asked me earlier if I was going to ask this question. Did anyone create a word of the year? Gretchen, what's your word of the year?
Flow.
Flow.
Oh, I like that. That fits you. That's a good one. Sarah, what's your word of the year?
Intentional. I really want to be like where I'm at and intentional with my time. And I was debating on that and cherish. Those were my two that I went back and forth with. Like, I just feel there's a lot of times Sarah is on to the next thing. Like, I'm here, but then I'm always thinking about the next thing. And I need to be more intentional with my time. And so that's why I chose that.
So good. I love that. I have a different, like, the last couple of years might have been like focus and simplify and streamline, things like that. But I turned 40 this year. And so my word is best. I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to have the best shape of my life. Like, God bless, someone pray for me. And I'm going to build the best business that I've ever had. That's my word of the year is best. So I love that. I love your guys' words. All right. Sarah, you want to hit on this one too?
Yeah. Okay, so this goes along with kind of what I mentioned earlier with the joy matrix. These matrices, I hope you guys find these valuable. I talk about this a lot with even my family, like I mentioned. Sometimes we talk about time management, but here's the thing. Priority management is more important, I think. It really does. It helps those people. I talked about communication, and comprehension is very important. So when you communicate like this, we need to block out time for this. Okay, fine. But let's still prioritize that time. So here on this matrix, you'll see things that are important. Now, are they urgent? or not urgent. So if they're important to do, am I going to do them right now, or am I scheduling them out? And we're going to get to another visual for you guys here in just a second. But or something like not that important. Not that important. Are we going to delegate it? Are we going to eliminate it? Some things it's okay, right? Amen. We talked about that a little bit ago. Like it's okay to say no to some things, right? Not important, not urgent. Nope, off my plate. Doesn't even get my time. I'm not thinking about it anymore. Eliminating that off my priority list. Not making my time blocking. But we have to identify some of these things. Otherwise, we just put them on a list and we just do them. And then the next thing you know, you're just like, gosh, I spent a lot of time doing that. For what? And we'll get into return on investment. We talk a lot about that inside Retail Bootcamp. But here's the thing. Sometimes we do things that are just easy to get done. And then at the end of the day, you're just like, well, actually, that didn't move my needle at all. That really wasn't something I needed to do. That was definitely something I could have eliminated, or heck, I could have delegated off to somebody else. So this Eisenhower metrics matrix is us taking this to the next level, not just a to-do list, but let's put some priority level to it. What's urgent? What's not urgent?
This is the biggest key for me in moving from being an entrepreneur and a CEO. How many of you guys as an entrepreneur are kind of a hog when it comes to, I'll just do it myself? Who here is a little bit of a control freak and you're like, I'll just do it, it's faster if I do it anyway, right? That is the biggest lie that entrepreneurs tell themselves. It is a lie, right? Do not just own that. Like that's entrepreneur talk. That's not CEO talk. How many CEOs of big companies do you know that are like, I'll just clean the toilets. I'll just do it. It's just fast. It's just me anyway. Do you think that happens? Can they clean the toilet? I'm sure they can. Is that a great use of their time? Probably not, right? Probably doesn't bring them a lot of joy either, if we're being honest. And so that's the hard conversation Dana was even talking about earlier, is moving into that, like, what is really the priority? So this is something I talk a lot about, you guys, in Retail Bootcamp and in the planner. If you guys have the Boutique Boss Planner, I have a whole episode on this on the podcast, but this has been the foundation for me. This is something I came up with several years ago that really helped me just to understand what should I be focusing on a regular basis. I used to be like a chronic to-do list maker where it was just like 1 mile long to-do list. And then yes, I'd cross things off, but I would still get to the end of the day every day and go, what did I do today? Does anyone feel like that? Like, yeah, you cross things off, but you're like, what did I really accomplish today? And it leaves you in the state of lack. You're still feeling like, man, yeah, I did those things, but look at how much I have to do tomorrow, or look at how much I still have left on my to-do list. And it's not a good feeling. So this list really shook things up for me. And this is how I've really operated my life since. So I look at the matrix like this. And again, this is in your workbook if you've got it. And I promise I'll be brief, guys. We got about 10 minutes left and we'll get into lots of Q&A, maybe 5 minutes and lots of Q&A. So first list is every single week. So if you think about across your entire company, if you have a team, think about all the operations that make your business successful. Inventory, dealing with vendors, photo shoots, social media, date with your numbers, all ordering, all the things, right? Every single week, these things have to be done. You list them out. And then I want to move to list number 2. I'll tell you what to do with list number 1 in a minute. List number 2 is just you personally. What are the maybe 5, maybe 10 biggest things that I have to get done this week? Just this week. Critical this week. This is not answering emails, customer service. This is I'm implementing a new Facebook ad strategy. I'm building out my email flows. I'm working with a new vendor. Like these things have to happen this week. So get clear on that. Every week you're going to adjust this list. It's short. It cannot be a long to-do list that's never ending. And then number 3 is my later list. So for me in Trello, this is how I prioritize this. Every week is a different card. It's here's my this week list, but then here's my later list. And later might mean next week, next month, next quarter. But at least when those ideas come to me, when I'm in a very creative state, I take all those to-dos and those ideas, all my 6 layers of lasagna, I put them on a list and I save them for when the time is right. And then every week I prioritize, okay, is it time for the this week list or does it stay on my later list? And then finally, the outsource list, like Sarah was saying, what can I say no to or where can I ask for help? What simply needs to be delegated, like cleaning the toilet, right? Yes, you can do it, but it's not $100 an hour job for you as a CEO. So it's got to go somewhere else. So then if I'm taking this list, what I'm actually ending up doing is I'm time blocking everything from list number one. So your week would have theme days, it would have blocks of time that are specific to you and everyone in your company working on the same things at the same time, right? So Monday's marketing day, Tuesday's vendor day, Wednesday's date with your numbers, however you want to do it. If you're super ADD, I've got to make my time blocks a little more broad, or I feel like I'm trapped. Or if you're someone who's a Capricorn and you're like, nope, I need it down to the minute. I have to have it planned down to the minute. Then that's good. Do it your way. But that's how you time block list number one. And then when you save space for you and your most creative time, for me, it's early in the morning, that's list number two. The other two things, you set them and you move them off your plate. It's for next week to just review and refresh those lists. But list number one, list number two become your focus every single week. All right, I'm gonna jump past that slide and just get to this so we can wrap up today, Sarah. We've got so much more to cover tomorrow and on Wednesday, but let's just go back to that, just an operation plan. Again, the foundational layer of lasagna, making sure that we're tracking the right things. You wanna hit on these things quick?
Yeah, so this is where we were talking about your company scorecard, and inside membership and inside retail bootcamp, we provide that scorecard for you, and we coach through that, and we walk through our date with numbers. These are some of the things I saw somebody say, I don't even know what to put on my to-do list to get started that really moves the needle. So this is where we want to narrow that focus. Yes, people love to focus on sales. However, you're going to hear until you're sick of hearing it that sales don't tell the whole story. We need to look at more than sales. And if sales are what you want to focus on, we got to break that back down. Like, where's the traffic coming from, right? What are our margins? You know, how profitable am I being? If I want more money coming in sales, let's look at that average order value. That's AOV. We talk through so many of these things, but the idea is we can't just say, oh, I had a $2,000 sale day yesterday. Sounds great. And leave it at that. And we can't just do bank balance accounting. Like, oh, let me log into my online banking. Oh, there's no negative sign in front of it. I'm good. That's not how we're going to build the business. And so what we want to do is own these numbers. And inside the planner, we also have these available where we are tracking these metrics. We're tracking our likes. We're tracking our shares. We're tracking our traffic. We're tracking all of these things that at the end of the day tell the better story of the health of our business. So when we get to about, let's say, the 18th of a month, and we are realizing we're not on track, we're able to go back and say, all right, which lever are we going to pull, right? We're getting traffic to our website. We're getting traffic to our website, but they're not converting. What's going on there? Or I haven't got in new inventory for about 6 weeks now, and my sales are really dropping off. According to the scorecard here, so have my views, so has the people coming into my store, right? So has my average order value. So I can go back and say, I need to get some freshness in here. But if we're not tracking those things, it's all just a feeling. And feelings they're not actual, right? They're not actual. The way your sales staff feels and the way you feel may be totally different. So we want to be able to make those educated decisions. And that's what this whole scorecard system is all about. And then with that, going into this whole systems and processes, that's what SOPs mean. The whole idea is there's going to be a time when you're not going to be available. There's going to be a time where you want to go to market or you want to get on retail bootcamp for an hour and a half every Wednesday, and you're just not going to be available, or you're going to take a vacation or a staycation or go watch your kids, sing in a musical or whatever it might be. And life cannot stop at home. The businesses cannot stop and pause until you get back. So creating a mini you, creating the mini me's in the business with systems and processes where somebody can jump in and say, hey, this is how to do it. Here's everything you need to know. I'm going to give you a perfect example. This morning, our team, it's Monday morning. We're no different than you guys. Monday morning, and one of our girls has no power, no heat, no all the stuff. And she is the one that runs our membership side of things with any questions that we have, like anybody that might not have been able to get into Zoom and all of these kind of things. And then there's 2 other people that help and assist her. One of them's mom went into the hospital. And so it's just like, welcome Monday morning. We're not adverse to, problems. What do we do? And immediately one of the girls said, here's the SOP. And she had the whole file completely identified, all the links we would need, all the questions, our FAQs, answers to them. So we could go into our team and say, all right, we need more people on deck today because this best year yet does not wait, right? So we wanted to make, it was easy. It was an easy transition. And it allowed those two girls, one without power, the other one that's at the hospital right now with her mom, to be present where they need to be, right? Not be sitting here worrying about letting down the team or, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work out? No, they took care of business and got it all organized with the assumption everything was going to go fine. And guess what? We needed it today and it was done just like that. And it took us 2 seconds to hand that out to the rest of the team and get everybody on the same page versus like mayhem and, oh my gosh, sorry guys, we have to delay or we can't get going. And you guys didn't even know, we didn't skip a beat. So that's what good systems and processes are for. And that's what we really want to work through inside. We do it in membership as well as inside Retail Bootcamp. This employee handbook, who has an employee handbook? Anybody have an employee handbook that you guys are using in your business? Yes, working on it. Awesome. Awesome. And I see some of you guys, there's been a lot of chat today about ChatGPT, and we will talk a lot about how to use ChatGPT for different things, creating some of these things to, take the heavy lift off of you. But nonetheless, these are non-negotiable. And you'll see there's a picture of a handbook here. This is a sample that we have inside Retail Bootcamp that's a template for you to go in and add your information, but it prompts you on what should actually be included, right? So you guys have everything you need to know. Same with operational documents. And we just have a couple of video or visuals here of some tech tools that we teach on a lot and we feel are time savers. Loom, making little screen record videos of systems and processes, how to input inventory into Shopify, how to process orders, right? How to actually put together an email, how to, all the things, how to navigate a website, different tools that are useful for not only you, but your team. The second one there is the ChatGPT logo. You guys, has everybody heard of ChatGPT? I know that there's some people, I work with some people in one-on-ones and they're like, I'm kind of scared of it. I haven't used it yet. So tune in. We've got more coming and there's lots more in Retail Bootcamp about ChatGPT. Yes, use it daily. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Even that is able to now analyze data and create charts and graphs for you inside this AI tool, ChatGPT. So that is a huge lifesaver. Ashley mentioned Trello a second ago. That's your organization for project management. Slack is something we talk a lot about that for inter-office communication with your team, keeping everybody on the same page. And then Scribe is another great AI tool that will make transcripts and summaries of all the different things that you guys will be using in your business. So tune in for more information from the Boutique Hub on tech tools.
All right. Oh my gosh, you guys made it. So we are about to do some question and answer. There's a lot there, and we've got a lot more to talk about for the next 2 days. Sarah, thank you for that. I wanted to give you, there was a lot of questions about several of the different hub tools we talked about today. So I want to just answer some of those questions really quick first. And then let's talk about your team. Let's talk about overcoming adversity. If you've got a question for Sandy and Dana and Carrie and Gretchen, you can start to use the Q&A button and drop your questions there. And then I'm going to call on you guys here in just a second. But first, real quick, a lot of you guys mentioned the planner. So take a picture of this screen yet. This is the 2025 Boutique Boss Planner that's built just for retail. Wanted to get you that tool in case that was something you were still looking to use in the new year. Again, reminding you of the giveaway. If you didn't take a picture and tag us on Instagram yet, that's happening today. Tomorrow, the same link that you used today for Zoom will be the same link tomorrow. So make sure 10 a.m. Central Time. Tomorrow's all about traffic. Jeff Fenn will be joining us. We're going to be talking about Google Analytics, making traffic plans, content strategy, crunchy cheese layer. We're going to get into the crunchy cheese layer tomorrow. And then, of course, a lot of you already asked this question. Today's a big day for us because Retail Bootcamp opens. So we only do enrollment for Retail Bootcamp 2 times a year, once in January and once in June. There's 2 semesters. We coach live, Sarah and I, for 14 weeks. Every Wednesday. Sandy is the queen of showing up and asking questions every Wednesday. And that's why she is the queen of perseverance. No question's a silly question. You just show up, you do the work, you focus, you implement. So how Retail Bootcamp works, this is like college for boutique owners. Whether you're new or like these guys who've been in business for a long period of time, we go over all those 6 layers of lasagna from the foundation up. Because Jeff mentioned this in the chat just a minute ago. Ads are only successful if you've got good content and a profitable product to build off of. So everyone who was asking about Boutique Black's amazing. We're going to drive lots of traffic when you learn how to run your own ads, but it doesn't work if you don't have the foundation laid. So we look at it like membership at the Boutique Hub is for everyone, retail and wholesale. Retail Bootcamp is when you're ready to really secure your business and build it to the next level. And then Boutique Hub Black is like the cherry on top. It's like the traffic and the gasoline that we're going to pour over the whole thing to really get it ignited and really push it, get it on fire. So if you want to take a picture of this screen, again, just take it, even if you're not ready, just take a picture of it so you have this link open and you can refer to it. Those of you who are enrolling in Retail Bootcamp this week, I know a lot of you have been waiting for enrollment to open. You've been messaging us. We do have a fast acting bonus now through Wednesday. It's $100 off. It includes the Small Business Marketing Handbook, which is like, gosh, 120 pages of marketing ideas month by month. It's a lot. It's a amazing tool for all types of business owners. And then the hiring handbook. So the sample operations document, the sample employee handbook, job descriptions, interview questions, onboarding training, all of that is in that handbook as well. So those are the bonuses that will go away after Wednesday. All right, let's do some Q&A. You guys ready? Okay. Beth, I think you've been managing the Q&A chat. Let's start.
Ashley, could I say one more thing I forgot to say a while ago? This is Sandy.
Let's hear it, Sandy.
I went, like, there is such, especially like me, I'm a solopreneur. I mean, I am, that is what I've done. And so for me to find like boutique besties, as you all lovingly call, I struggled with that. I knew I wanted that because I'm such a friend person. Like, my friends are my people. And so I wanted that. But you know how you say your family, your friends, they really want to understand and they really want to support your business, and they do. But then to have someone that really understands what you go through is key. And so for everyone on this call today and on these 3 days, like, this is the start of you finding your boutique besties, because that was pivotal for me when I went to the LA experience in 2020, I think, because I met Ange from Roman and Leo, and we just were stuck together, and we have remained close. And now, we've added in Brooke with Be Aaron Designs, and we've done Summit together. It's just so important. It's a big download for you when you get together and you can share and you can text each other. But I guess that's the one thing that I would like to add, is that find people through this group. Just keep your ears open for someone that might be able to kind of come alongside you on a personal level and be your cheerleader and you be their cheerleader, because it's been a game changer for me just in my mental, the baggage you carry and things like that. It's just been a blessing. And so anyway, I just want to encourage everyone to keep your antenna up for when you'll find those people. So, and sign up for Summit, because it is amazing.
It's all about, again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's exactly it. And you've got an amazing group of friends Ange, as you mentioned, is amazing. So I love that, Sandy. Thank you. Sarah, I'll jump into the Q&A if you want to help with the ones in the chat. Donna, I want to answer your question first. You're the very first one that asked a question today. So you talked about, I'm just going to summarize really quickly. Donna's a fashion designer, and she's talking about creating designs and trying to get them in boutiques. What kind of training is good for her, so on and so forth. It's overwhelming, she says. And so I think the important part, Donna, is really making sure you go back and decide, is the fashion design piece where you want to start, or is there another business that you can help build up to be in the same industry? The design piece, in order to really wholesale and get pieces out to boutiques, we've got to be able to turn, I'm going to say, at least 100 SKUs per design to make some of that business really effective. Doing just custom work for just a couple boutiques is tougher to cash flow. So if you want to dig into the design part of your business, going through retail boot camp, I would do that, but then also keep an open mind of, do I want to design, but then also wholesale other people's products as a real boutique owner at the same time. So you're building out, the reach, the trust, the brand, kind of building proof of concept of your product. And all these ladies talked about, the most important part of their business is nailing their ideal customer. So I think to get the designs off the ground, you kind of have to start with the business and the brand first. Who's going to be the customer of that product ultimately that you're wanting to sell to these boutiques? So yes, we can help you dig into all those things in boot camp, but nailing that ideal customer first is really the most important thing. Emily, do you have a template or recommend any templates for email marketing? So Emily, yes, in Retail Bootcamp, in the 6th layer, the marketing layer, we talk all about all the strategies for email marketing. But truthfully, if you're using Klaviyo, which I think the majority of people probably are, especially if you're on Shopify, yes, there's others, but that's kind of the most popular. Some of the templates that are in there are amazing. Some of the done for you, first purchase, get back, abandon cart, abandon browse, there's great templates. Beyond that, if you want somebody who truly is an email marketing expert, one of our dear friends who's a service provider here at the Hub, Jane Casper, has a company called Glow Group. You can find her. She's on our Hub member service provider dashboard. She's amazing and specializes in all things email marketing as well. And she'll build those flows out for you if you don't want to take the time to do those in Klaviyo yourself.
I'll just also mention, because I'm seeing some comments. Number one, yes, everything we do here at the Boutique Hub is recorded and have the ability for watching replays. So we know you guys are super busy. There's no perfect time to do our live trainings. Retail Bootcamp is, and most of our live trainings traditionally are at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, right? That's pretty much the standard time. I know it's busy. And so there's going to be times like some people jumped in and said, hey, I've got a customer, I've got to walk off today, all the things. So yes, everything is recorded and emailed out. So you guys will have all those. RBC, Retail Bootcamp, Boutique Black, if you miss a session, if you miss a coaching call, you have the ability to go back and watch the replay. You also have the ability to send questions to all of us and your coaches prior to the calls and after the calls. So you have that ability for us to get back in touch with you and get your questions answered that way as well. So if life's busy, work's busy, and you miss something, it's not a loss. The other thing that I want to mention, as Boutique Hub members, we talked about your boutique bestie. We talked about your circle of people. We talked about all of that. The one thing I want to add, and just make sure you guys all know, as Boutique Hub members, you have access to vetted service providers and resources that are at your disposal inside the community that live in our Facebook group to help answer questions about email flows, trademark protection, using AI tools, using systems and processes, building Shopify, building Square, using comments sold, you guys name it. We have merchandising experts. Ashley and I know, we feel like we know a lot, but you guys, I don't live in ADA compliance, website communication. That's not my jam. I haven't kept up on all the tax implications for LLCs and S Corps and all the different things that they're coming out with for 2025, but I know who does. And I will tag them in a post to help you. So that's part of membership and in being a part of this community that you get access to as well. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware that all the really cool things that you have available to you when you become part of our community, and take advantage of those things.
I love it. To all of our guest experts, there's lots of people asking, could you please drop your website and social links in the chat? I think there's a lot of people who would really love to follow you and become friends. If you want to drop so everyone can follow along, please shop with these ladies as well. I know they would appreciate that as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Couple of other quick questions here from Q&A. Boutique Summit, is that different than Retail Bootcamp? Sarah, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, for sure. So yes, our Boutique Summit is a 2-day event. We hosted in June. This summer, we're going back to Dallas, and I say it's like kind of that revival where you are going to walk into this huge space with hundreds of retailers and wholesalers and services. And you're going to some of you guys will walk in as strangers. And by the end of that first day, you're walking out, making plans. You've made best friends. You have been basically revitalized in your business. You do workshops. We have main stage speakers, but we also are doing actionable workshops for those 2 days. So it's in-person action learning and collaborating together, networking. So that's what happens at the Boutique Summit. Retail Bootcamp is different. Retail Bootcamp is small group coaching through Zoom, right? So you're going to come into a Zoom room with Ashley and I on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, you're going to come into a Zoom room with an industry expert. They're talking through what's happening in that space, in their expert, their service, their topic, what's happening right now in retail. And those are all small group coaching sessions that happen in Zoom. We do an in-person event at the end of that. That's called our LA experience. That's a big deal at the end of the fall session where we try to get together in person and do a lot of really cool face-to-face things. So, but those two are different, but very, very powerful. And I think they work really well together.
I love it. All right, Chelsea. Best event coaching for vintage resellers. I don't know of a very specific event for vintage resellers, but I do know we have vintage stores. We have consignment stores. Goodness, there's been a chain of like Plato's Closet and Style Encore, all of those. Like we've got some of those stores here as well. So inside of the hub, you're going to find a lot of those answers for your type of business. Same with Danian talking about handmade businesses and identifying your customer. I want to open it up to our guest experts on this one. So Danian's talking about just really putting herself out there, growing social media, connecting with her community, and identifying who her ideal customer is. Can you guys talk about some tips on just pushing yourself over the edge of getting out in front of your social media, actually building community, and letting that really narrow down your focus on who your customer is? Anyone want to go first?
I will.
Okay.
I would say just, like being yourself, I think I guess if your customer is you, which that is the way it works for me, is that my customer is me. Sometimes that's not the case. Your customer isn't actually you, it's somebody different. But I think that that's how I've narrowed it. It's just being myself, like, especially like in all of those stories, put the stories out there, be real. They don't care if you're not wearing makeup. They want to see your animals and your dogs and, everything about your life. And I think that's how I feel like I've nailed down my typical customers, just being a real person to them.
I've watched you do that. Like the more honest and raw you've gotten, like there was a time where it wasn't necessarily you on video. It was more you actually for a period of time, you outsourced your photography. So it was other people in your photography. And you were like, nope, that's not working for me to build community. Now it's all you. And it's you completely unfiltered and raw. But I think there's a mental shift that has to happen in order to get there. But the more raw and honest you are, the more it attracts your ideal customer. It's kind of like a magnet, right? And all of us, it's true for every single one of us. If the magnet's two sides, just as much as you want to attract the right customer on this side, you also want to be able to repel the wrong ones, right? So it's okay to repel people. When you target everyone, you reach no one. So really get into the more who you are, the more you're going to realize who you aren't and who you're not for. Carrie, how about you? Or Dana, I see you on mute. Dana, let's hear it.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the hardest things is, do people actually care what I have to say or what I'm doing behind the scenes? And yes, they do. So that was like a roadblock that I had of actually just jumping on, showing day-to-day life, showing my animals what I'm doing, was really hard in the beginning. And then also just, I think someone just mentioned about just being uncomfortable on camera and just kind of getting over it, like just being yourself, adjusting your lighting. I like having my lighting just so, but just being comfortable with what you're doing and warm up. Like you don't attend a game without a warm up. So if you're doing a live, if you're doing, a reel or a video, like have a little 5 to 10 minute, dance party, warm up your body, warm up your mouth a little bit so you can talk. It's also important too. So have a little warm up session is my tip too.
You don't want to be Ricky Bobby. What do I do with my hands? You got it. All right, Carrie.
I would agree with what they said, just kind of being yourself and posting consistently. I think that's one of the things that we do really well is just being really consistent and always showing up. If it's not me, it's a couple of the girls that they know well. But yeah, just like kind of showing behind the scenes, our customers will love to see our like back room and like unboxing and stuff. And so yeah, pictures of my kids or just like family pictures. They love it. So yeah, just growing that community and get having them get to know who you really are and your why.
Your why. That's critical. Absolutely. And Pink Friday is another way I think, like if you're new to that, like how do I introduce people to my why? Pink Friday is something like our entire community really gets together. And that one of the biggest purposes of Pink Friday, the Friday before Black Friday, is telling your why. Talking about with the local press, why do I want to shop with a small business first? So easy way to get that out there. Gretchen, do you have
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, Morgan over here commented. She said, "Yeah, that's scary. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or anything I'm doing." That's something that I like really go through a lot. That's interesting that you said that because, you know, there are a lot of the owners of especially the really big boutiques that are like, "We're in Europe, we're at the beach again, we're doing this." And like, I don't actually like that. Like, I'm real secret about our life. And I always joke with Ashley and Sarah, like, we have a lake house and nobody knows. If I go to that lake house and take a photo, I say something like, I'm at my friend's Airbnb. Like, I completely 100% lie. And it's okay. It's okay to keep your life on the down low if you're living an abundant life. And, you know, it is okay, but they still want to see into your life. So still let them in, but it is okay to not show them everything if you don't feel like that feels comfortable to you.
I agree with that. I feel like you have to protect your peace a little bit too and have your privacy and pick and choose what you share.
Yeah, protecting your peace is that is so important. And you are going to have those people that are just going to want all of you. And there's going to be a time that you've got to shut it off and you're just not going to be available. And that all goes with growth. It really does. And, you know, I made a comment. A number of people are saying they're really uncomfortable in front of the camera. And I just did want to say at Summit this year, we have a session. We're going to do a little workshop about how to take selfies, how to pose, you know, how like different angles to set your camera at, filters, those kind of things. So we know that you're not alone. If that was one of you that said, "Oh my gosh, I hate taking pictures. I don't like standing in front of the camera." We see you and we know that's an issue. We want to do some more training on that. And then we have a session at Boutique Summit specifically for that. So that'll be fun.
And keep in mind, going live and all of that, it's not just for apparel. Like I know we've given a lot of apparel examples because we've got apparel, you guys are apparel guests. There's pet stores here, there's gift shops here, like there's children's stores here. Going live and building community and getting in front of the camera is applicable to all of the above. Anybody, no matter what you sell. I think this is the biggest marketing trend in 2025. And I'm going to talk about this a lot tomorrow, building a personal brand. If you've built a personal brand, you can sell anything. But I think there's, you know, a good segment of us who have felt more comfortable just hiding behind the business as a brand, right? Dana. So I'm so going to call you out on that because it was Limeberry, right? And when we spoke, it was like, oh no, it can't just be Limeberry. Like if Dana has a brand and Jane takes money from Limeberry, Dana still has 10 other options of businesses she could build off of her brand. So it's a big, like, that's a big focus shift in the creator economy, and the ability to just have influence over multiple different areas is really huge right now. All right. Anyone else on building community and getting in front of the camera?
I'm going to call out, I think, who said it? Somebody said, does anybody else's husbands hate it when they're on social all the time? This is a real thing. Like, I've talked to other business owners that say my husband does not like it when I'm always on social. My daughter's actually in the chat right now. She's helping answer some questions, and I know that there's times she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, my mom just posted that thing again." And I'm trying to navigate high school and she's showing up on everybody's feed, like, right? But have that conversation with them. They don't know what they don't know. And you got to just say, "Hey, look, I got thick skin. I got broad shoulders. This is part of my business. Haters are going to hate whatever you want to say, but I can't do this without going live. I can't do this without being on social. I am the face of the business. We are building something big here," and get them on the same page with you. Don't ignore it. Like just face it head on and help them understand where you're at with things. And hopefully they get on board with you.
It's
Gretchen.
sharing your why. It's sharing your why, Sarah. Like if they know why you're doing what you're doing,
Yes.
same with my daughter who's now in high school, she knows why. My purpose is to change other people's lives. She's like, oh, mom, all my friends follow you on social media. I don't really care. I don't hear the negative anymore because I know why you're doing it. Totally life-changing. Gretchen, go ahead. Sorry.
So I listened to this podcast this morning and like he didn't mention that specifically, but when I saw that question, I thought that this went right with it. It was James Wedmore. Does anybody follow him? What's the name of his podcast? Do you know, Ashley? I can't remember.
Business by Design, is it? That's
Yeah, Business by Design. So it's today's podcast where they're like, whatever the most recent podcast was. And he said that, like the 5 love languages. He said that he believes that there is a 6th love language, and the 6th love language is the most ultimate of all love languages. And it is the love language of your own self-growth and evolution, and both you and your husband taking that, like growing in yourself and, the evolution of growing as people. And that really made me think of that because you have to grow and he has to grow with you and you have to get comfortable doing those things.
Ooh, that's good. That's really good. All right, I'm going to jump over to a few more live questions. By the way, all of you who are still here, there's like 500 of you still on. You're hanging in with us. Sarah and I have a tendency to just we want to just keep sharing and answering questions, even if we're a little long on time. So thanks for hanging out. Guest panelists, thank you guys for hanging out. I want to get as many questions answered as we can. Appreciate you guys. All right, Jordan, let's talk about this for a second. This is a great question. I do not want to outsource my photos, but I'm a plus size person. I've been on a weight loss journey. I want to do my photos. I've been able to do my own photos, but now I found out I'm pregnant. I will go back to this once I can, but how do I stay relatable in other ways? Anyone want to answer this question? So good. All right, I'm going to jump in.
I
Oh,
might could answer.
Go ahead.
So I am a plus size girl. Like I wear extra large most of the time. So I carry small to 3X. So I just congratulations on your pregnancy, by the way, Jordan. But I just asked a couple of friends because I knew that we would have a fun interaction. We're comfortable with each other. And it's been a process for me to find ones that feel comfortable on camera because I do the live selling and we have so much fun together, and they just usually do the small through large and then I do the curvy girl, and that seems to work well. So maybe you could find some friends who could sort of fill in, and then maybe you could just be off camera or even on camera just talking about it with them, in the picture, or do a little quick short or some little video to talk about an outfit, and there your voice is still there, but yet and your face is still there, but maybe the clothes are on their body. So just a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And your personal experiences, like relatable content, is just all still there as well. So you're in the live video with somebody, but you are talking about, as a pregnant mom, bring us along that experience with you. Chances are you have other people in your community who are going through or have been, have children now. Talk about what's for dinner. Talk about time management. Talk about the feelings or ask them questions. New moms especially love answering questions. So engage your community, bring them along that experience with you. I keep losing questions.
Tiana had asked a question in the Q&A, and also it's in the chat now. And yes, she's looking at adding prom and specialty dresses into their boutique. Yes, we have a number of stores that do exactly that. There is, as far as some things to avoid, I will just tell you, when you are bringing in something very specific, you want to look at how that's going to affect your core customer, and make sure that you're not trying to split things where it's going to be confusing. Like, are you still going to be able to supply and serve that core customer who maybe is not interested in the specialty and the prom and things like that? And that person going to feel like you're turning your back on them during that time when you're offering those. If you are able to tell the story in a way where it's inviting to all those customers, you're serving that audience, all of those things, and make sure that you have, communicated with who your clients are, right? You know, do you have limited availability? Are you doing one dress per school? Different things like that. Small town, I've seen them get into some issues with supply and having extra dresses on sale or on hand just because they've limited who can buy what in what colors, all of those things. So those are definitely some things to, you know, kind of iron out from the beginning. But you will find a lot of support from others, especially right now. I see a lot of conversations happening about the specialty occasions and the prom dresses, and even in like in the fall, the HOCO dresses that a lot of our stores are selling.
All right, Carolee Smith asked about goal setting in 2025. She's really looking for the best tools to analyze numbers for the year, whether that's specific reports to pull through Shopify or other ways to dig into the data and the numbers. Really wanting to look into analyzing financials, but also inventory, turn rate, margin, floor space, all of those things. Her shop is 6 years old and continuing to grow. She also has an online business. Carolee, a couple things. So in retail boot camp, this is like one of the things Sarah loves to coach on the most. So in terms of the 6 layers, layer 2 is all about products and profitability. So 2 ends of the spectrum, we've got to be able to dig into, yes, the reports in Shopify. And if you're using Better Reports or Delirious Profit, those are 2 great apps. We'll dig into all of that. We'll analyze your turn rate. We'll analyze margin. We'll talk about pricing for profit. The date with your numbers, we'll get that scorecard set up with you. All of that takes place. And then in addition, we look at all things QuickBooks. So profit and loss, the where does my money go formula, which I think actually we're going to talk about on day 3. So Wednesday, we're going to dig into that. So we'll go into depth getting you familiar with all those things. And then once you have a great base, like solid foundation, a great next step is our friend Christine Gray, who has She Profits Now. She does more in-depth, like one-on-one. Once you have kind of a baseline established, she can help you. Dana talked about that with working on that debt plan as well. So that's a good place to start. Gretchen, I think this next one's going to be a question for you. Bryce is asking, I've been wanting to start doing live sales. I know there's comments sold, but also video. Is there somewhere I could go to learn about getting started? I have a storefront. I'm also currently online with Shopify. And I want to preface this with, Bryce, if you're already a member of the Boutique Hub, we have a special relationship with comments sold. So if you go to your service provider dashboard, you'll get a special link just for Boutique Hub members that gives you special pricing. So I want to note that for anyone who's a Hub member. But also there's a lot of other questions like I'm on Lightspeed, or someone mentioned I'm on Square, Etsy, and one other platform. Where should I move? So let's kind of talk about platforms, you guys. Can you guys talk about what platform you're on and why? Who would like to start?
We use Shopify. I have never been like a live seller. We can go live through our app. Vero is what it's called. We used to do that a little bit. We don't do that, but we do have the ability to use it like a comment sold platform. But we are all on Shopify and pretty happy with it.
And Carrie, if I could follow up on that, the person who was asking about what would integrate her 3 things, the other one was she had a storefront. Shopify would be really awesome for that because it would integrate with online and in-store sales. It all syncs. And then it has the most integrations of any other platform. So Etsy has integrations, Pinterest has integrations. There's just all kinds of activities. It's the largest platform with the most integrations in the largest app store. So great platform to be on. Anyone else? Gretchen?
Well, I'm obviously 100% comments sold and not really a huge live seller, so I could have very easily went on Shopify. I think, you know, it's just whatever you prefer. If you have a brick and mortar, obviously you probably need Shopify. So I've heard video. People are really loving video. I think it's one thing to remember is when things change and new things happen that there are going to be problems, and like you just have to be prepared for that. And I think that you just be really careful about what you read and what people say, and make sure that you make decisions based on what you think and talk to people who are friends and what they think before you make decisions on that. Don't just go off of some you know, sometimes in groups we see these posts that just have a lot of negative comments about either one of the two, either one. So I think just research and make your best decision.
And there's so many great workarounds for integrations anymore. You know, and I've seen several of you mention this in the chat about, oh, I'm on Square and Shopify, so I use Shopinventory to sync them. There's just a number of ways to make all those things work together. So it's good help. Anyone else want to mention anything?
Oh, one more thing. I think another thing that people like really get real caught up on thinking that they have to have Common Soul to go live. Like you can just go live on Facebook and be live. Like you can hand invoice them. You can say, here's the link to this shirt right here. Anything like that. Like you don't have to have Common Soul to go live. So I think I think like that's like a misconception. Like it's not, it's going to grow your business at a certain point when you have a very large live following. But until then, like it's okay to just go live on Facebook.
Absolutely. All right. Lots of questions. Retail boot camp about when it starts and the workbook. Those of you who have been in retail boot camp, it's a brand new workbook, totally updated, a bunch of things added to it. It's linked up in the retail boot camp Facebook group. And then when does it start and when do we get together in person? So our coaching is live for 14 weeks on Zoom, just like we are now, except we get to see all of your faces and you get to see each other. And that's Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central Time every single week. And then again, it's not just what you know, it's who you know. So we have guest experts who join us every single Thursday, also on Zoom. So you can ask those guest experts questions. We go through the workbook, we have the Facebook group, and then at the end of the year, usually September or October, we're still finalizing the dates. We all take a trip together and we have a retreat. Anybody who has been through retail boot camp, it's lifetime access. So once you're in, you get to keep going through the live coaching and you're always invited to the retreat. And that's in LA in the fall. So we'll announce those dates soon once we have them. So that's kind of the one in person that we have. And then of course, if you guys are going to market this year, if you're going to either apparel or gift in Dallas or Atlanta, if you come to Magic, if you go to Magic New York, our team goes to all those markets. So you're always welcome to stop by our showroom, come say hello. We'd love to meet you, connect you with anything we could to help your business. All right, last question, I think. Should we do one more question and then we better wrap this up? This is just a good general question. So Jordan's new to business. Her sales are low to non-existent. She wants to grow, isn't sure where to start. So if you could go back to your business being new, sales being very minimal, where's your best place to focus to get started?
One of the panelists want to jump in, or do you want me to jump in?
I think the pop-up show has a lot of reach.
I think for me, it was just showing up on Facebook is what really grew our sales, and social media, taking selfies in the clothes, consistently posting, just kind of over time really built up the curiosity and like people just wanted to know what was going on. So they kept checking back.
I would say also just trying things, trying new things. If it doesn't work, be quick to try, quick to leave, try something new, and kind of just see what sticks with your audience, who you're starting to follow. And I think another important thing is being on social media is that you think that people are not watching, that your reach isn't high, but then, you know, what you hear from customers in your community that they are watching is also important.
If you're able to do the pop-ups, I agree that pop-ups as a start would be a good way to get in front of people. My very first show was the Lomita Rattlesnake Roundup, y'all, in Lomita, Texas. And I had this pretty jewelry display with black fabric on a caliche parking lot. And it was lovely. And but I met some people that still follow me and are customers today. So that is, I think, where you need to evaluate, like, are you willing to do the physical labor to set up a booth and that kind of a thing? A lot of people think that you can jump off and make it huge online, but you know, if you did a pop-up and you did like, hey, follow me on social, and you had like, you know, sort of a sign up for your email list, sort of think about it like back to the basics. I think that would probably be a good start if you're able. So.
I think the only other thing I'll add is, this will be the very first part of Retail Bootcamp, and we do customer interviews. And you may feel like you don't have customers right now, but you do have a base, and you have people that you can go ask and listen. Ask a couple questions, just listen. Like, what are their pain points? What are they struggling with? What do they not like about shopping other places? I love just throwing these questions out there and then just letting them talk. There's so much to learn in this, right? And then being consistent. I cannot stress enough how important it is to be consistent. Don't get hung up on, I posted something and people didn't like it, or I posted something and, I don't know if anybody saw it. Keep getting in front of people. Don't assume that their lack of likes, is like, okay, they're voting as they didn't like it. That might not be. I've talked to a lot of people that are like, it takes a lot for me to actually like something anymore. And so being consistent, showing up on time. If you say you're going to go live at 8 o'clock, go live at 8 o'clock. If you're going to run a business and you say you're going to open at 10 in the mornings, be there. Be there, lights on, doors opened, 9:50. Right? You can't just here today, gone tomorrow. I think that's one of the biggest issues that we are seeing with startup businesses is they're just not consistent for their customers, and their customers lose faith in them. There's so many other options out there. They're scrolling constantly and like, oh, okay, I don't know if I trust that other store yet. I'm going to look to this one. Build their trust.
Ooh, that's all good advice. I love that. There's lots of questions in the chat coming in just about, again, more content. I'm just gonna remind you guys, tomorrow it's all about content. So when everyone's talking about how you're showing up, bringing them along, doing interviews, all of that, tomorrow we're gonna go back to using social media, creating a content plan, and analyzing all those traffic numbers as well. And no, Felicia, you cannot be annoying. You cannot be annoying. You just keep showing up. There's nothing annoying. You keep showing up and you pretend like, again, the human attention span is shorter than that of a goldfish, which is the shortest in the world now, unfortunately. So you keep showing up because either they don't see you or they don't remember that they saw you. So you keep showing up as much as you possibly can. All right, that's it. Thank you, panelists. Thank you for being here today. You guys are awesome. So awesome. We appreciate you. Thank you for your stories. Congrats on all you guys have overcome and how you closed out the year. We can't wait to see how it all goes for you guys in 2025. To everyone in the chat, you guys, thanks for showing up here, hanging out as we went way over time just to get some questions answered. Appreciate you. We'll be back again tomorrow, all about traffic. We'll be back again Wednesday, all about inventory. Just a reminder, again, Fast Acting bonus for Retail Bootcamp ends on Wednesday. So use that code RBCFAST25 to get those bonuses. And then to enter the giveaway, just tag us on Instagram to be entered to win a free Retail Bootcamp. And then anyone who does enroll in Retail Bootcamp before Wednesday, there's a giveaway for free VIP upgrade as well. All right, that's it. Appreciate you guys. We will see you again tomorrow.
Yeah.
All
Great
right.
day, everybody. Thank you.